97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What's up, everybody? It is Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. John Marks, why do I feel like I'm in the high chair today? I've never been this high up in the chair ever. My knees are touching the top of the table. We say good morning to Ray Dunn. Good morning, Raymond.
Good morning, John. How are you?
I'm kind of grumpy, to be honest with you, but we'll get into that. Today is me, and it's Ray, because of sickness and injuries or whatever. Even Dutsy, Brandon Dutz, he's been hit with the flu bug, or he's sick. Everybody at my house is sick, so it's Ray and I today.
You've been sick. Nate missed Monday. Dutsy's out today. I'm terrified.
Yep.
I am terrified for the rest of the week.
I texted you on Sunday night and said, I will not be missing tomorrow. I will come in regardless of my health. But just so you know, I do have a fever, and I could be walking in very poorly tomorrow. And I didn't. I actually felt okay. I powered through it, so I don't have the flu. My oldest daughter has the flu because my nephew came down with type A flu. We were in my minivan with him all day on New Year's Day, so it was inevitable that somebody was going to get the flu. So she has the flu. My youngest daughter, I don't think she has the flu, but she's got something because she's had a fever for a couple days. Not the same exact symptoms. So, yeah, so Dutsy's out. Nate had a fever earlier in the week, so lots of fun.
I'm staying away from everyone in this building.
Yeah,
as much as I can.
Might be too. Yeah, stay in there.
That's the plan.
Might be too late. On YouTube, does it look – am I up too high? Because sometimes I feel like I'm too low. But today, for whatever reason, Andrew had the chair all the way up.
Nope. Authoritative look. You're right there.
So this is
perfectly in frame.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. We're going to talk, and we have this long opening segment that's about 20 minutes long, 21 minutes long. So we will get to the Eagles shortly. But you know me, Ray. I live, eat, and drink Flyers. I can't stop talking about Flyers. Everybody knows that. They call me Mr. Hockey. But in all seriousness, what I said I needed was exactly what happened last night down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. I needed juice. I needed playoff atmosphere. I needed to feel like that my team was interesting and they had something to them. And they did last night. It was an amazing game. That felt like Legion of Doom era. That felt like Keith Primeau. That felt like Flyers playoff hockey last night. It was awesome. And I'm glad it's back. This team's for real. They're going to make the playoffs, but I just wanted to make sure from the onset of the show at 11:30, we are going to have a hockey segment with Bill Colarulo and Ray. They're going to battle it out over something involving the Flyers. But from the start of the show, I wanted to acknowledge what an amazing, amazing event that was last night. Zegras had 2 goals, and he had a celebration because when they called him and told him he was traded, it was a very short conversation. So after his first goal of the night, he did a cell phone pickup hang up. And after the game, after the game with Scotty Hartnell? Here's how it sounded.
A team that might have given up on you, Trevor, and you come in here, you pot 2 in that first period. How good did that feel? Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, Scotty, he didn't even say. Trevor, just so you know, you're on live TV right now, and then get to the next question, which is what I probably would have done after 2 F-bombs in the first 5 seconds of the interview. But he did not curse for the rest of the interview.
FCC understands. He got traded from the Ducks.
Well, you're on legally and technically, you're on Comcast Sports, NBC Sports Philadelphia, so it's okay to curse. That's why Pat McAfee's allowed to use the F-bomb on ESPN. You actually are allowed to curse on cable.
Oh, perfect.
Typically, you just don't do it. We can't use the F word here. We get in trouble.
Want to test it out?
Well, Harry apparently did, according to Harry Mays. So Flyers win. We'll talk about that coming up later on. But, yeah, were you watching last night, Ray? I know you normally are a big Flyers guy.
I was weaving in and out because I also had the Owls.
So you know what? I normally Harry's texting me during the game.
No, sorry. I have men's game tonight. The women were playing in Wichita. I'm not with them on this trip, so I'm keeping tabs on them as they make the trip. Yeah. So I was weaving back and forth between, hey, this
the
is what
Lady
I got.
Owls and all right.
Hey, let me keep an eye on this. The Zegras stuff was awesome. Especially because Gauthier early, you're like, oh no, the Ducks gonna get you. Is this entire night?
So Cutter Gauthier wouldn't sign with the Flyers. They had to trade him. He scores the first goal, which is like, oh my God, he was already getting booed, and then he scores. So it's like, is this how this night's gonna go? Nope.
It's very poetic. It was those two also battling out in the first period. And then the Flyers are good.
It was poetic. And the Flyers are good. Mitchkov didn't even play.
We should be pucked up right now. We should be very pucked up right now.
When's the podcast?
It's a great question.
The Pucked Up podcast with Ray.
This will be a good test of Bill and I's chemistry today on Talking Flyers coming up at 11:30.
Okay. All right. That's coming up. Bill Colarulo. Maybe he'll take over Pucked Up. And he'll host that.
Maybe it will.
On 97 Fanatic's YouTube page. All right. So here is my Eagles lead for today. And it's Wednesday. I don't you know me. I'm not an X's and O's guy when it comes to these games. We bring on our experts so they can do the X's and O's. I like good Eagles and NFL conversation. But I hear and I see a lot of people, especially coming off of it doesn't matter. We didn't need the number 2 seed. Just put any team in front of me, Ray. We'll beat them. I'm not scared of anybody. Okay. And I'm not trying to be negative because I am positive, John. But if you got every Eagles fan and you put them on a lie detector test, which, by the way, is not admissible in court, but still, you believe in the lie detector, Ray?
No, I don't think it's real. The biggest lie in the world is the lie detector test itself. Yeah, I don't buy that stuff for a second. No way.
I do. Well, the cops and police officers do. Detectives do.
Yeah.
FBI does.
Yeah, because it's a real convenient way to say you got the truth when you got nothing.
All right. Well, no, because it can tell when you're being misleading. But anyway,
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
If you put the average Eagle fan on the lie detector test, it actually worked. All right. And you asked him, you said, okay, do you really believe the Eagles are going on a Super Bowl run here? I'm not talking about one game. I'm not talking about, they can beat the Niners. Or that's not what I'm talking about. Does this feel like the start of a Super Bowl run for the Eagles? Last year, did it feel like the start of a Super Bowl run, Ray?
Oh, yeah.
Sure did. Even without the number 1 seed, I went into pretty much every game thinking this team, I know I've been told they can't win by playing defense and running the football. All they've done all year long is win. So it did feel like that. Ray, this year, and remember, the lie detector test is on you. Does this feel like the start of a Super Bowl run?
I would say no.
Yeah, and I think I said this earlier. It might have been with Harry yesterday or it was on Monday. That third quarter, when everything started to feel like it was breaking their way. Like, Lions are up. The Eagles take the lead. They're up 7. It's 17-10. Lions looked like they're in control of that game. I was like, things are starting to break their way. This is like a real fortuitous Sunday. I was like, this feels like things are starting to line up. You're going to get the 2nd seed. You're going to get the pack. They'll take care of the pack. And then it's either Chicago's got to come here or some chaos happens. It's like, they probably are going to get 2 home games. There's a good likelihood that, hey, maybe Darnold will end up causing himself some trouble and maybe end up hosting another NFC championship game. You get that 2nd seed. You're fortunate at the end of the season. You were able to beat the Commanders with your backups. I was feeling all the vibes. Like, I was kind of overwhelmed sitting there on the couch, like, third quarter of that game on Sunday. We're like, oh, yeah, this team's got it.
And then Patullo took over.
And then that happened. And then it was like, okay. That didn't break your way, and usually you need that break. Maybe that break's coming this weekend. Maybe it's coming next weekend, but I usually need that break to feel that way.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And I didn't get it.
It doesn't have the feel. I think they beat the Niners on Sunday. It doesn't have the feel.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator isn't magically going to turn into to John Gruden overnight. And the idea of this defense being able to carry an offense that really has struggled this year, outside of Jalen Hurts becoming Superman dual-threat Jalen Hurts in the playoffs, which I expect to see a better Jalen Hurts in the playoffs. That's kind of his M.O., but the offensive line's banged up. Baldy had said, I'll just say this from the start of the show, Baldy was on with the Cuz yesterday, and he had talked about Lane Johnson, and he said he was iffy. What did he say? We'll see if Lane Johnson's able to go on Sunday.
I don't even know if he was that optimistic about it.
Not optimistic at all, which
right.
is the first time that we're really thinking he's not. Even if he plays, he may be not great. You know, the whole foot thing, we just said, oh, yeah, he'll be back. Well, if he can't move.
We were supposed to be back 2 weeks ago, right? Weren't we leading up to the Bills game? Like, oh, yeah, this might be the time where he's making it back. Like, and it wasn't just us saying it. Like, people we talked to here, we're saying it.
Everybody kind of assumed, based on his past history of being able to play under really anything that's happened to him, yeah, he plays. So if you're talking about even a compromised Lane Johnson, and And the whole reason, well, you rest your starters because the offensive line's so banged up. Are they magically healthy after not having to play last week? Why? I don't know. So I don't want to. This is Philadelphia. This is sports radio in Philadelphia. I don't want to be negative Nancy and come out and be like, I don't think this is a Super Bowl run. I don't think this is the start of a Super Bowl run. It doesn't feel like it right now.
And you're getting that same sentiment. I don't think you're totally alone in that thought. As positive as people want to be, like there are people in the YouTube chat right now thinking, hey, we're going to win on Sunday, but I don't know how I feel going beyond that. Like Jim G here, they have a chance, but I don't think they're about to make a run. This offense just never got better. Even if it was half decent, they would make a run. Going down to another one here. If they take care of business on Sunday, then I may change my outlook. Like that's not a confident. That's not Wood. That's not a confident take. That's a.
But you know what? I agree with that. That's actually where I am. They come out and you see a different looking Jalen Hurts and everything else, then everybody's going to say, all right, they do have the Super Bowl resume. We've seen what Jalen does in big games. We know there's still Saquon Barkley. Their skill guys are unbelievable. But they've given me no reason to believe that they're going to go into a phone booth and come out as Superman on offense at all. So let's do this. 610-632-0975. We still have a good amount of time in this first segment. 610-632-0975. If we put you on the lie detector, so you have to tell the truth, be honest with yourself. Don't lie. Because we can still tell. Like when we ask Ray questions and he's shaky and his voice cracks.
Yeah. Sure. Of course. That's basically how I agreed to do Damp January. Sure.
Yeah. I'm sure as a kid when you lied, you were the easiest kid to tell if you were lying or not.
I've never needed a lie detector test.
My middle daughter, Lena, actually really all of them, but in particular Lena, I can tell when she's lying in a second because she smiles and it's like, no, you're lying through your teeth. You're smiling. It's an easy tell when she's lying about something. You're an easy tell when you're not confident with something.
Right. This is why it's the show you trust, because you know exactly when I'm not telling you the truth. You have to trust.
About that?
This is the show you trust. Because I don't even know. I mean, it just like I always give you my feelings and they can, the range of emotions with me can be dramatically different from week to week. I think that's like that with a lot of fans. But right now, this is a good football team. But we're also like, I have people DMing me saying, well, what about Cliff Kingsbury for the offensive coordinator? What about Kevin Stefanski for the offensive coordinator? I'm like, yo, can we just finish this playoff run before I start talking about offensive coordinators? Like, if people are going to tell me they think the Eagles can make the Super Bowl, then why is the offensive coordinator getting fired? If they win the Super Bowl, is he losing his job?
That's the only thing left, I think, to save his job.
I don't know. I mean, like, everybody's behavior seems to tell you that they don't think this team's good enough to win a Super Bowl. They hate the offensive coordinator. He's terrible. I don't disagree at this point. 610-632-0975. Real time on the text line as well. Put yourself on the lie detector test. I would love to question you about it. But on the text line, put yourself on the lie detector test. Do you really believe this team is poised to start a Super Bowl run on Sunday?
So to what you just said, and I think it's interesting because you agreed with Dawood in that idea that Sunday is when you see the team, you'll believe more in what would happen. I would say I'm almost like the outside perspective of what happens Sunday. Like I'm looking what happens beyond the Eagles. The Eagles win on Sunday. That's great. They live to see another day. I don't think that win is going to be what makes me think they can make a run. I think it's almost seeing what else happens in the NFC and how that other matchup goes, and I'm going to be more dependent on what the path is forward to getting to an NFC Championship game, getting to a Super Bowl. That'll make me feel better. You would feel better based on the Eagles' result. Obviously, a win. We're all looking for a win. But the Eagles would be what gives you more confidence. Me, it would be what do the Bears do? What do the Rams do? How does the matchup look like for the divisional round? More than anything the Eagles could do for me at this point, because I feel like they're a known commodity in my eyes. I know what their flaws, I know their shortcomings. I think it's the outside factors of what happens this weekend that will give you more confidence going forward, not the actual game the Eagles play.
But it's just getting past that first round, and now what are you looking at? Do you have to go to Chicago to play the Bears? You scared of that game? Especially after the way they beat them, you scared of that game? I'm not. I love the Eagles' chances against the Bears the second time.
Really?
I'd much rather be at home playing whoever.
Oh, yeah, that's that.
But the Bears are underdogs, or is it still a pick 'em against the Packers? So, like the first year in the playoffs, they don't have the playoff experience. I don't believe in Caleb Williams in the playoffs right now. Ben Johnson, I think, is a really good coach. He's cost them games. He did last week. So he cost them in the game against San Francisco. So if you get a win, now you go and you're like, all right, now you have the Bears. Like, why can't the Eagles beat the Bears? I'm wondering if the Eagles aren't favorites at Chicago. If you go out, and I don't need against San Francisco. I don't need style points. I don't need 44-13. That's how the offense can win in the playoffs. They're running the football pretty effectively. They're smart with the play calling. This is a big problem with my argument. A.J. Brown's being involved early. Devontae Smith's being involved early. Oh, look at that creativity on that play. Tank Bigsby got 5 carries in the game. Like, holy crap.
The offense plays the second half.
27-20. You know, feel like they're good enough. Like, yeah, I'm feeling good because this team doesn't have to be pretty to win. We saw that previously. Give me some more real-time text here, Ray.
All right, we got an unnamed texter here from Virginia. Packers could beat the Bears. I don't trust Sam Darnold. NFC is wide open. Panthers have beat the Rams already this year. Anything can happen. I'll remain cautiously optimistic. And if they could start running the ball on offense, no one could stop the Eagles in the playoffs. Go Birds.
Huh. Cautiously. See, the more I talk about it, the more I talk myself into it. But it needs to start this week, right? Is it about the matchups more than the team? Yes.
Yeah, that's really where it comes down to for me. Sunday, they win. I almost go in expecting them to win. I think we all talked about it yesterday with Harry. Like, we all pretty confident going into this weekend that they're going to win this football game. It's not that the 49ers aren't a good team. Just the more I look at this matchup, I say I haven't yet talked myself into, oh, this is going to be a real fight. I'm really concerned. We'll get to that Friday. I'm sure I'll start getting real nervous and anxious then. But I'm not that concerned about the win. I'm more concerned, all right, the Bears win, you're going to Chicago. Oh, the Packers pull off the upset, I get to have a Jordan Love segment on Monday. And, oh, by the way, the Eagles are going to host another playoff game. Like that.
Against the Rams.
Well, what if the Panthers do the unthinkable? I don't think they're going to do the unthinkable.
I would be shocked if they won. That'd be the biggest shocker that could possibly happen.
That would be the best Saturday 4 o'clock playoff game of all time.
Yeah.
The Panthers win that game, that can take the banner as forever being the greatest Saturday 4 o'clock game of all time. But again, all these matchups, I love the hypotheticals. I think it's going to be the matchups and what the divisional round looks like that would make me feel more confident than watching the Eagles win a game. Because week to week, I know what not that I know what to expect. I know that I'm not going to get a good feel of, like, this offense is back, this offense is dialed in. It's more, do I like the matchup the next week?
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's say hello to Eric in Fox Chase. Eric, good morning. Go ahead.
Johnny, what's up, buddy?
What up, Eric?
Dude, it's so good to have you on, man. You know, you don't even realize I can't listen to that other crap on the other station right now. So,
well, Eric, I appreciate that, and I've heard a lot. I saw a lot of people over the weekend that I saw them at the grocery store and out and about, and they're like, dude, like, I didn't even know you were back on the radio. I just recently started listening, and, you know, like, appreciate it. A lot of day oneers out there, Ray. Met some day oneers at the cheerleading competition. My daughter's cheerleading competition over the weekend. They said, I'm a day one guy. Appreciate you jumping aboard, Eric.
Yeah, I'm full-fledged now, so.
Good.
So anyway, I really truly believe. I mean, in 2018, nobody after Carson went down, and Foles came in, he was playing terrible at the end of that season.
Yep.
And even in the Atlanta game, he really didn't play all that good. He didn't turn the ball over, I don't think, but he was. He was very mediocre.
It was lost.
You know.
It was the play in the end zone.
Yeah.
Who was it to? Julio Jones? Kind of a jump ball to get it, incomplete.
So, all of a sudden, they caught fire, right?
Yeah.
That Minnesota game wasn't even looking good until they picked the ball off and ran it in for the touchdown. Patrick Robinson.
Yep.
So all it takes is a couple plays and, ball here, some craziness, and anything can happen, man. So,
all right, but just hang on. Lie detector, because you're right. Anything can happen, and stranger things have happened. Lie detector. Does this feel like the start of a Super Bowl run?
No.
Hey, you're just like me.
Yeah, but But, I mean, if you put me on a lie detector, yeah, I'm going to be truthful and say no. But I still believe in my heart that
There's a decent chance.
If anything, and anybody in 2018, if you ask them the same question at the same point, what do you think they're with a backup quarterback?
I had members of the media, and I appreciate it, Eric. I had a member of the media, and I'm not going to out him, that told me at a live player show, the Brandon Graham show, that he would start Nate Sudfeld in the playoffs over Nick Foles. And I called it, and I said, dude, you sound like an idiot. Stop. And he wasn't doing a hot take. He was like, I really would. And I'm like, okay, well, Nick Foles has experience in this league. I know he's playing like crap. I didn't expect Nick Foles to look like that against the Patriots and outplay Tom Brady or what he did against Minnesota.
Let's make some noise. Come on.
And so coming up, I'll give you the reason why, because he brings up a great point about Nick Foles and how they got going. It's less of a reason to believe that the Eagles can make a Super Bowl run based on that comparison with Nick Foles and how they got him going. That's coming up next. 610-632-0975 and it's lie detector test time. Do you believe that this is the start of the run for the Eagles? Also, Peter Schrager might have given you the biggest reason to believe in the Birds. We'll play that for you coming up next as well. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The game plan for San Fran. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles get back on the practice field today ahead of the wild card round matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. Two names to watch on the injury report this week. Right tackle Lane Johnson, linebacker Nakobe Dean. As for what they're preparing for out there on the practice field, Vic Fangio talked about the tests of the 49ers earlier this week.
You know, they have a really good scheme. It's all packaged together very nicely. Obviously, Purdy operates it very well. McCaffrey's an elite back. I mean, they had a run where they were hottest offense in the league for like 6-7 weeks in a row.
For more of a breakdown on the 49ers, we'll talk to Chase Sr. coming up at 1 o'clock. The Flyers beat the Ducks 5-2 as Trevor Zegras scored 2 goals against his former team in the win. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. Tonight, the 76ers get back in action against the Wizards at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance is here. Their sleep experts will help you find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. I'm Ray Tone, your home for the Sixers, Flyers, the best birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
all these coaches. And the name that isn't mentioned enough on our shows everywhere that gives them fear, and I'm talking Shanahan has publicly said it, McVay tells me often, they lay awake at night thinking of Vic Fangio.
Oh, yeah.
That
Sure. Yes.
man
Yes.
is a genius.
Yes.
And what he does to opposing offenses is makes them go out of their comfort zone and try something different to try to get a step ahead. It's a constant chess match with him.
Yes. 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 Vic Fangio. Yes. Who is that? It's Peter Schrager. Who are the other?
Jeff Saturday was the one, yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
Saturday went first, and he went with the quarterbacks, and Saturday realized, crap, that's a better point than mine.
What great content. We're back. I like Schrager a lot. Schrager's very talented. I'm a big Schrager fan. I think he's good. He's right. Vic Fangio should give you reason to have confidence that the Eagles can make a run here. Unfortunately, there is something called the other side of the football, and it's the offense. Remember back when Nick Foles, and he was brutal when he took over for Carson Wentz. And so much so, I had said earlier, there were really people and members of the media that I actually respect that were saying they should start Sudfeld. No, that's nuts. But remember, Ray, do you remember what the Eagles did with Nick Foles to try to get him going? So, offensive coordinator Frank Reich, quarterbacks coach John DeFilippo, they went and they studied Nick Foles under Chip Kelly. The year that he had the great year, the Pro Bowl year where he said, let's make some noise, come on. They went back and
Make some noise, come on.
They went back and they said, well, what was he doing that year that's so different from right now? And they brought back the RPO. He started running the RPO, not to run, to pass. It was like, am I going to pass it here? Am I going to pass it there? And it was great, and they hadn't seen it before. They tried to use it again the next year, but the NFL caught up to it. But in that small window of a couple of playoff games, it worked. It was effective. So you had experienced coaches, experienced coordinators, John DeFilippo and Frank Reich, that went back and said, we can do this. This is going to work. What do you have in this offensive room, as they call it?
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
You have Nick Sirianni and you have Kevin Patullo. And if they wanted to go in and figure out what to do with Jalen Hurts, I think they might have done it already this year. Now,
And that's in my notes.
this is maybe when they start it and they do the design runs and things like that. But when you look back at that season where they won the Super Bowl, without going back and figuring out what can we do with Nick Foles, because Nick Foles was terrible. They would have never won anything if they didn't get him some confidence. Once you got Nick going and he was confident, he's as good as anybody. But they got him there. What can they do with this offense to get them where they need to be, where they were last year? I just don't know if it's available with these coaches, because I don't think you can run the ball well enough. I don't know if you can protect Jalen Hurts well enough.
It's going to take Superman. I think you said it perfectly in the opening segment. It's going to take Superman Jalen Hurts. For all that we've talked about Jalen Hurts this year, and for how carried away everyone got about Jalen Hurts, and for all the dialogue over the last 4 years of, is he good? Is he a product of his system? And all that. Every time he takes the field, it feels like we have that conversation. This is the time. I mean, if you want to do the legacy thing, like, he's already won the Super Bowl. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. But if he's able to drag this offensive coaching staff to a Super Bowl, I mean, come on. Like, at some point, we'll have to shut up.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if the second Super Bowl shut everybody up. I don't know. Let's go to Mike in Delran, New Jersey. Mike, good morning. Go ahead.
Yo, what's up, man? Good morning. How you doing?
What's up, Mikey? Good morning.
Hey, not much. Hey, listen, I used to be it all the time, every day. What up, Ray? I used to be a long-time caller at a station, and I haven't called in a while, but you're bringing me back, man. Love the show.
Good.
You're doing a great job.
Good to hear from you.
Lie detector test. Yeah, I'd pick the field if you were betting money, right, on the Eagles or the field. But there's one thing that's a little different is, like, I look at the rest of the teams, both NFC and AFC. This team is battle-tested in the playoffs. I mean, you look at everybody else, a lot of new guys, made first years in the playoffs, right? You got Caleb Williams, Jordan Love didn't really make far in the playoffs.
Right.
I'm not worried. I could see a run happening. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that this defense is a championship caliber defense. And I think, Jalen Hurts just doesn't turn the ball over. We might be winning 13 to 10 games, but I could see us hoisting that Lombardi,
If I squint, let me squint and see if I can see it. All right, I can see it. I can see him doing it. You got to squint for it, and
I mean, listen.
But Mike, like I said at the start of the show, I don't know if you heard it. If let's say they beat the 49ers, it doesn't even have to be a blowout or anything like that. And then the Bears beat the Packers. Now you're most likely playing the Bears in the divisional round in Chicago. But does that scare you? Doesn't scare me.
Doesn't scare me at all.
No, doesn't scare me.
Last time that happened, what was that? Last time Cody Parkey quadruple doink off the goalpost. No, I'm not scared at all.
Right. So then you take it week by week, right? So just like in 2017, it's like just don't look at the big picture because you're never going to win the Super Bowl. If you do that, take it week by week. If you take this team week by week and you beat the Niners, then you're going to look at the Bears game as like, oh, we can win that one. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I agree 100%. We're probably not too far off in age, and we remember the years of absolute dreck football, right?
Right.
We've been very blessed for the last, what is it, 8, 9 years? I would not be surprised. I have trust that organization knows how to win a game. We might not like the way it looks. We might question everything that gets done, but at the end of the day, there's not another team in this playoffs in NFC or AFC that has the talent or at least the experience to go get that Lombardi. Go Birds!
All right. There he is, Mike and Delran. He's got to make one of the because we're Ray. I'm trying to get a list going because it's been a slow start as far as the Call of Famers calling in. Angry Al is he may be officially retired after his latest stroke.
Any more word on how he's doing? Have you talked to him since yesterday?
He texted me yesterday. He's doing well. He's listening to the show. He's very happy to be home. So Angry Al's doing well.
Glad he's doing all right.
Herb. I can't have Herb as the number one caller to the show. He's almost his own separate category.
Well, he's a podcast host now.
Correct.
So he's kind of in the media. You can't really, the caller media line's been blurred with him. I agree with you.
All right,
a separate list.
Mike and Delran has to be considered. And who's the Sharon Hills?
Keith.
Keith from Sharon Hill is a regular caller.
Yep.
We have your boy from Levittown, Ish.
Yeah, not number one in my book.
He's odd, a little odd.
Not number one in my book.
Interesting guy.
Sure. Greg from Bethlehem.
Greg from Bethlehem.
Dr. Matt Elf.
Oh, my God. Absolutely.
He's moved on to the Tennessee Honey, though. That's what
all right, so 610-632-0975 is the phone line and the text line. And you said the text line's going nuts this morning. Give me a couple texts.
Yeah, we got a longer text here. I truly believe the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, and the only team that can beat the Eagles is the Eagles. They went 11-6 this year. I get the offense struggled at times, but look at the teams they played. They played 8 teams that were in the playoffs in 2024, beat Prescott, Allen, Mahomes before injury, Love, Goff, Mayfield, Stafford just this past season. The NFC is totally wide open. Do I trust Seattle? No. Chicago's a year away from being a Super Bowl contender. Carolina, come on. Rams, wildly inconsistent. San Fran, nice story. Defensively, way too hurt. And I take Vic Fangio's defense against mid-tier Brock Purdy.
I would have to believe that Kevin Patullo can manage the offense well enough. And we're just talking about getting those Super Bowl. He's got 6 halves of football that he's got to manage, and they all don't have to be great. He's been horrible. Let's face it. He's been absolutely terrible. You'll get one good half, and I'll be like, yeah, see that? Kevin Patullo, good job. And then they won't have a completion in the second half.
You know how things are bad? Is when you treat it that way, where he has a good half of play calling, and you're patting him on the head like he's a kindergartner that just finished the alphabet for the first time.
But for a while, I was I don't even want to say protecting him, but I was being like, listen, stop blaming Kevin Patullo for everything that's going on right now. It's not all his fault. I'm just so easy to blame Kevin Patullo. No, it's actually really easy now to blame Kevin Patullo. I've had it.
Right, and the organization's going to do the same thing at the end of the season, so you might as well just get on board now.
Coming up, the John Harbaugh era is over in Baltimore. Should it be? And would the Eagles really consider hiring John Harbaugh if something happened with Nick Sirianni? We'll get into that, and there's a NFL coaching cycle. A lot of coordinators have been let go as well. That's coming up next, and your Eagles phone calls. 97.5 The Fanatic, Middays with Marks.
Every game day right before the
right, we're back. It is Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. 11:30, Bill Colarulo comes in studio. It's our first installment of Bill versus Ray. What are you debating today, Ray? It'll be a way for us to talk about the Flyers a little bit, too.
Yeah, Dvorak extension.
You think it's a bad one?
I just don't understand it.
And Bill is championing.
Right, yes. Bill is all flyered up. He's in all orange today. Probably in a Flyers tracksuit. No, not yet.
Oh.
But I imagine. He's taking it on social media over this, by the way. It's been funny to watch.
Good. By the way, our social media, 97.5 The Fanatic, and we'll do this after Bill. Ricky Bo and throwing the ball and smashing the coffee everywhere and whatever happened with that, he went crazy yesterday on the air and started attacking Ray and Dylan, and it was really, really funny. I retweeted it.
Yeah, he called me scum of the earth.
Well, I don't want to waste too much time. We'll talk about it coming up at like 11,
yeah,
11,
we'll get to it.
11:45 or so, an hour from now. But it was very funny, and Ricky was pissed.
Funny is a way to describe it. More concerning. Beachfront in that head.
By the way, Birds Watch Party. Speaking of Ricky Bo, how about this? New Deck Tavern, Sampson Street, University City. Come watch the Birds with those guys. $5 Corona extras and extra and Modelo drafts. Exclusive Go Birds T-shirts, etc. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to next year's regular season game. 97.5thefanatic.com. But that's will you be over there, Ray? I guess not.
I'm debating it. Because it sounds like I'll be here for pregame and then I got to go somewhere.
Right.
But right now, with the relationship that Ricky and I have and how strained it may be on his behalf, I'd rather not ruin his Sunday.
I don't think you're going to make it any better at 11:45 when we talk about the whole
I don't feel like I have to do anything to make it better. We'll get to it an hour from
now. All right. So let's play. I honestly, Ray, we had talked about this. I don't think we talked about it much on the air, but we talked about it off the air. I have buddies that are from Baltimore, big Ravens fans, and just kind of our text conversations are either Lamar's going or John Harbaugh's going. Both of them are not coming back. A change needs to happen. Well, yesterday a change happened. I had thought that Harbaugh wouldn't get fired, that they would meet and agree that it's time to move on. Like, yeah, it's probably best for both parties to move on. That's not what happened. Here's Rappaport on NFL Network.
My understanding after talking to several sources involved is that simply Harbaugh lost the locker room. But at the end, players just simply had doubts about whether or not they wanted to play for him as their head coach. The opinions of players, Judy, was valued here. It was listened to. It went to all levels, and it's not just Lamar Jackson. Now, it sounded like to me, with Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson not being on the same page, and it continued throughout the locker room, maybe not 100%, but more than enough for the Baltimore Ravens to say among the reasons to move on, this was a big one.
Lost the locker room. Obviously, Lamar Jackson and other players were not seeing eye to eye with John Harbaugh. Sometimes it's just it's time to move on. 18 years, Ray. 18 years. They hadn't had a lot of success recently.
18 years. I mean, for people of my generation, my age and pretty much under, there's not a lot of Ravens football you remember that wasn't John Harbaugh. Like,
for sure.
I remember early 2000s Eagles, but that's because I grew up in a household where my dad was an Eagles, lunatic. Like, I don't think about the Ravens of that time. When I think Ravens, Harbaugh is one of the first thing that comes to mind. So, yeah, this is a wild change. It's not that it's totally unexpected. The biggest thing I caution against is if this was a decision following Luke missing the field goal.
No.
Like, this had to be the decision when you lost in the postseason the next week, you were also going to make.
I think so. If Tomlin could go, I'm not saying he's going to be fired, but he could end up leaving if they lose. They need to win a playoff game. They haven't won a playoff game since 2016. This isn't the Cardinals, right? Like, you have different expectations with different franchises. Making the playoffs, winning the division's not good enough to save your job sometimes. So even if they would have won last week, I don't think it changes the way Lamar Jackson feels about him. There's bad chemistry. They need a new coach. They need an offense. They need a new coach. They do. Tony Dungy tweeted this out, and I love it because it's so wrong. And I understand it coming from a former head coach's or a former player's standpoint. And Tony Dungy got fired. Tony Dungy went to Tampa Bay and took over a god-awful bad franchise and turned them into a respectable team. that couldn't get over the hump and get to a Super Bowl, that couldn't win in the playoffs, right? Couldn't win big games in the playoffs. They fired him. John Gruden came in. They won a Super Bowl the very next year. Here's what he tweets. I can't believe what things have come to in the NFL. John Harbaugh has coached the Baltimore Ravens for 18 years. He took them to the playoffs 12 times. He won a Super Bowl. The last 4 years, they were 10-7, 13-4, 12-5, and 8-9. They made the playoffs 3 straight years and missed this year because the kicker missed the game-winning field goal. And he was fired? I'm sorry, but I don't understand. Good luck, Baltimore, in finding a better coach. Well, listen, Tony, more than one thing can be true. John Harbaugh could have been a great coach for Baltimore. He may be a great coach going forward, and it was time to move on, right? The same thing was said. The same fingers were wagged at me and were wagged at Eagles fans when there was talk about getting rid of Andy Reid. Chris Berman, be careful what you wish for. A lot of people said it. Adam Schefter came on this very station, and he had written or said that they're going to build a statue for Andy Reid in Philadelphia. He came on with Tony Bruno and myself, and I questioned him and said, they're not building a statue for Andy Reid. And Adam got very upset. Tony Bruno and I shouted at each other on the air. The point was, there's always another coach. And if you're a good franchise, you can move on from a coach and be fine. The Eagles have been fine. Andy Reid has been fine. Right? Like John Harbaugh will be fine. Good coaches will be fine. And Tony Dungy was fine. He went and won a Super Bowl with the Colts. The Bucs won a Super Bowl with John Gruden. Right? I mean, like Tomlin leaves the Steelers, they will be fine. They'll hire another coach. What are we talking about here? This stuff happens. You get Bill Belichick, best coach of all time, the GOAT. 2 years ago, they won 14 games this year. Bill Belichick won 4 games at Carolina. Like, what are we talking about here? You can move on from coaches. Good organizations hire other good coaches, right?
Yeah, and it might be true. You might not find a better coach, but you might find the success you're looking for. You could argue the Eagles haven't found a better coach than Andy Reid, but they found the success they're looking for. They've won 2 Super Bowls in that time. If you ask any NFL fan right now, who would you take as your head coach, Doug Peterson and Andy Reid? You're probably still taking Andy Reid. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl for you. Ask them to take Nick Sirianni or Andy Reid. They probably take Andy Reid. Nick Sirianni just beat Andy Reid in the Super Bowl. Like, you might find the success you're looking for. It might not be a better coach. But sometimes things get stale. 18 years, it's a long time. And if you're a franchise quarterback and your head coach are at odds right now, I'm going with the MVP talent and the guy that has been there for 18 years. The last time he got it done, I think I was in middle school. Like, it's just the nature of the business. You know what's good for Harbaugh? He'll find another job.
Giants.
He'll be fine. Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't either.
I don't really like that at all.
It's what they need.
But it goes to another point, and this is kind of my tie back to Philly looking at this whole thing. CEO, head coach. You see what the Seahawks are doing right now with Sam Darnold. What are they doing right now in Sam Darnold? They got an elite defense. Who's the head coach there? Defensive coordinator of the Ravens. You lose someone that schematically makes your team that much better, you see where you could be left. You could be left in kind of a dire strait. Now, there are other factors to the Ravens losing, but that's like a part of the CEO, part of the risk of having a CEO head coach. When you lose someone that's such a key ingredient to the formula of success for you, can you continue to replicate that success? That's the Eagles tie-in for me. And that's probably more of an off-season conversation than a, hey, the 49ers coming here Sunday conversation. But that's the thing I'm taking away looking at all the dialogue around Harbaugh.
By the way, 60 seconds or less. They're still playing. I'm not like, but I do have to. Cliff Kingsbury was let go. I think they said mutual parting, which is bogus. A lot of people are saying, does he make sense for the Eagles? Kingsbury makes it. They interviewed him.
Yeah.
Last go around.
Let me be the first to repeat what I was the first to say last time. Hell no, no thank you. Stay away from my football team. You go somewhere far away. I guess one of the things reported was he wanted to get rid of Stoutland. He wanted to bring in his own offensive line coach. Yeah, good finger on the pulse.
Which is a big reason, I think, why they didn't do it. I like Kingsbury in that he is a college coach, and you have a quarterback that really runs a college offense. Anybody that hires, because now it's like, oh, well, Cliff Kingsbury is going to be interviewing for NFL head coach's job. Any franchise that would hire that clown deserves everything that they get. He is at best, mid-major college coach. At best. Anybody that would hire him, any major college that would hire him, you're going to lose. You're going to fail.
Yeah, he's an 8-4, 9-3 college coach.
Right.
That's what he is. Ooh, it's week 8. His school's on College game day. They're 7-1. They beat 3 teams that you haven't heard of in September. but they've won their first couple conference games. That's the coach he is.
Correct.
Kind of reminiscent of another coach we talked about.
610-632-0975. Ish from Levittown, who wants to be one of our top callers on the show. He's been holding. We'll try to get to him. Some Phillies news coming out yesterday from JT Realmuto and Ranger Suarez. The quote is that Ranger, what was it they're destined, the Mets are destined to get Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez.
This is bad. This is very bad.
Ranger going to the Mets, and I have an idea. If you're not going to resign JT, what about Ranger Suarez? We'll talk about that coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Looking ahead to San Fran, I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles getting back to the practice field today ahead of Sunday's matchup in the wild card round against the 49ers, 4:25 at Lincoln Financial Field. Two names to watch as they hit the practice field: right tackle Lane Johnson, linebacker Nakobe Dean. As for what the Eagles are preparing for on the practice field, Kevin Petula met with the media yesterday and talked about what threats that Niners defense poses.
Do a good job. They're really, really well coached. Coach Solid does a good job. He's done a good job for a long time. They fly around with the ball. They're very physical. I mean, they play extremely hard. They're disciplined. So it's going to be a good test.
We'll talk to Chase Sr. coming up at 1 o'clock about the test that the 49ers pose for the Eagles. The Flyers beat the Ducks 5-2 as Trevor Zegras scored 2 goals against his former team in the win. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. Tonight, the 76ers get back in action against the Wizards at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance is here. Their sleep experts will help you find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the Sixers, Flyers, the best birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
back, Middays with Marks. This is a Core 4 show. John Marks, Ray Dunn, and actually Dutsy's, Austin's back there because Dutz is sick.
Yeah.
Today, but Nate's back there. So it's a skeleton crew with all the illnesses and everything else. Jason Martinez is in tomorrow, and then Sean Brace on Friday. How about that? Flyers win last night. Is that, do you consider one of the more, I don't want to say biggest win, but exciting wins in recent memory?
I'd say so. Given the stakes of going against Gauthier, given the fact that it was Zegras against his former team, and he's kind of been the star of this season. And
given the fact it's a good team. That's a playoff team that could actually win a series or two.
It's about the push from here. Because there's been a few, but I feel like working here over the last couple of years, I feel like we've come in maybe once or twice a Flyers season, and it's been like, wow, last night at the barn, it was really rocking. You know, it's starting to give me vibes of the way things used to be for the Flyers.
They never built on it.
And it's like, all right, what happens the next 3 weeks? Like, what happens the next month? Can you keep pushing that forward?
Yep.
That's the hope. They're an exciting team.
You know what, though? I believe it this year. It feels real. It does. So Colarulo's coming in at about 11:30. You guys are going to discuss the extension of Dvorak. Is that his name?
Dvorak. Christian Dvorak.
All right, there you go. Because a lot of Flyers fans are you guys are going to argue, which is what the segment's supposed to be.
Right.
Bill versus Ray.
I did not anticipate the first installment of Bill versus Ray on this show would be over the Flyers.
Right.
But happy to do it.
Okay, good. There you go. All right, so some Phillies news yesterday. Let's start with what Matt Gelb had written. He's talking about JT Realmuto. He says, 2 stubborn parties exercising their rights to be stubborn. The winter before Realmuto signed his long-term extension, he went to an arbitration hearing with the Phillies over $2.4 million. The Phillies tried to settle beforehand at the midpoint, but Realmuto's camp rejected it. Quote, no hard feelings, the catcher said afterwards. So you're getting a guy that is like look at it. The Phillies said to Kyle Schwarber, go set your market, come back, and we'll pay you. They did. They're trying when negotiating that arbitration with JT, they had said, let's meet halfway. He said, no, I'm not meeting halfway. So you can already tell he's difficult to deal with, right? JT wants more than the Phillies have offered. The club is believed to discuss various multi-year scenarios with the catcher. As one of the more decorated catchers in the sport, Realmuto commands a level of respect. Here we go with this respect stuff again. I'm really tired of it. I am. So the Phillies have offered. The club is believed to have discussed various multi-year scenarios. So the Phillies are really trying to get something done. They're not just saying, here's the offer, take it or leave it. They've tried, according to Matt Gelb, and he's a really good Phillies reporter. I believe him. So the Phillies are trying to get something done. And then it's Realmuto commands a level of respect. Like, what are we doing here? What level of respect? What does that mean? It's been reported before that he was miffed. His old agent actually said in an interview, said that JT was miffed at only getting 5 years and $110 million. Remember, he wanted $200 million?
Only.
Right, $90 million less is what he got. So he has these unrealistic expectations. And JT, if you want to not be a Philly, you know what's going to happen? You're not going to be a Philly. This is poor strategy by JT Realmuto, because here's still the most likely scenario. He signs with the Phillies. But this is going to leave a bad taste in the mouth for fans like me. And if he struggles, if he in the playoffs doesn't do anything, if he's hitting 7 home runs instead of 12 home runs, guess who's not getting the benefit of the doubt by as many people? JT Realmuto, because there are other options that they could consider than just giving JT Realmuto $17 million a year, Ray. And I think the Phillies are starting to do that.
Yeah, there are. I'm interested now to see what shoe drops first. Is it Bregman? Is it Realmuto? Because the Red Sox were one of the early rumored, Realmuto suitors.
They traded for a catcher. Too.
Right. And that probably takes them out of this. But they are also the chief Bregman right now, it feels like, suitor. Like, they want to pursue that reunion. They want to make things work out with him. They need that bat in their lineup. So as the money starts to be spent, is Realmuto going to be the first shoe that drops, or the Phillies going to see one of the bigger bats go somewhere and then be like, all right, JT, we're going to cave to you and we're going to give you the money?
Well, it feels like the Phillies right now are trying to say, hey, sign or we're going to have to move on. Right? Because there's more to what Gelb puts. He says the Phillies have explored contingencies because pitchers and catchers report to Florida in 5 weeks. It would be ideal to have a starting catcher report. The Phillies have talked trades for catchers, young and old. Minnesota's Ryan Jeffers is one potential target, league sources told The Athletic. But the closer everyone gets to camp's opening, the more reluctant teams are to trade away a catcher. Victor Carantini, who's never started more than 87 games in a season, a catcher, is still on the free agent market and could wait until Real Muto decides to pick his own destination. So again, in other words, the closer you get to spring training, this catcher that may be available right now may not be available in 2 weeks. Hey, JT, make up your mind now. And Jeffers, better offensively than JT, not as good defensively. Depending on, and he's going to make I think it's $6.6 million is what he's in arbitration is what he would get, and he's a free agent after the season. So you're more or less buying a rental unless you want to re-sign him long term. Really great that this is just going to be the Twins. Like they're just going to get the Durand, like the entire pipeline of Phillies Twins deals is just fun here. But what you said with Jeffers offensively, last couple of years, been better than JT. He's a guy that you're going to get another catcher that's closing in on 30 that you would have to decide whether or not to pay, which is a really great spot to be put in one more time. The easiest solution for JT is accept the offer, just come back here and do it. And at some point, it's almost disrespectful to the Phillies. Like I agree with you. You don't have the market that you want. That's not the Phillies' fault. Look around. Understand, look in the mirror a little bit here. This is what happens. It's not because you haven't had a great career. It's because everyone realizes paying a 35-year-old catcher is a tough business to go into. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Your market's the market, and because you're JT and you have this inflated opinion of yourself doesn't mean the teams need to run out and give you 3 years and $50 million. Right. It's like, don't. It'd be like me walking to Scott's office I need morning drive. Otherwise, I'm not sticking around at this station.
How about
that's
that?
The way the business works, folks. You do your job. JT, your time is come and gone. What we're doing? All right, so check, and this is our long segment, so you can jump in, and we'll have Phillies conversation right now. It's 610-632-0975, 610-632-0975. If you're the Phillies, would you pivot to a bat, or, as I'm gonna make the case right now, what about an arm? All right. Here's the headline that I read. Inevitable that the Mets sign Ranger Suarez or Framber Valdez to a contract, says MLB Insider. And it's Buster Olney. He says he cited Suarez as a good fit because of his, quote, calm mound presence and experience pitching in a big market for all those years in Philadelphia. So at some point, Ranger's going to go somewhere. And he's going to get paid. He's probably not going to get paid that much, but he's going to get a nice contract. I've talked about this, and we've talked about this. This rotation isn't great right now. And Rob Thompson had said yesterday that everything's going well with Zach Wheeler. I think they're like May or June is when they would project them to be back. But let's look at this rotation right now. Chris Sanchez threw 214 innings last year. And he's flirting with the idea of throwing in the World Baseball Classic, which I hate any pitcher that does that. But he threw 214 innings last year. By far, that's a career high. Now he's coming back as one of the top starters in baseball. And I love him. He's great. And then you have Jesus Luzardo, who was very good last year. And then you have a bunch of ifs and question marks. Aaron Nola, Andrew Painter, and Taijuan Walker is still Taijuan Walker, ladies and gentlemen. We might want to believe that he's great all of a sudden after we wanted to get rid of him last year. And I'm glad that we have him because he's in the rotation. So I guess my point is, if Chris Sanchez, we've seen it happen all the time. You come out of spring training or you're in spring training, it's like, wow, Sanchez's velocity's not there. Or he doesn't look the same like he did last year, coming off throwing career high in innings. If you don't have Chris Sanchez coming out looking like Chris Sanchez, this team's in trouble. And your starting rotation is thin. The thoughts of Ranger Suarez coming back. If it doesn't work out, you look at it and say, okay, we could go after Bo Bichette. You're going to have to give him 8 years. You're giving him a lot of money. Or do you go for the starting pitcher that might be even bigger of a need on the team, Ray? I don't see it as a bigger need on the team. I understand the logic here with Suarez. I think there is a logical point you reach of, look at this starting staff, Wheeler.
Everyone's, oh, yeah, Wheeler will be back in May. I don't know if Wheeler's just going to be back in May
maybe.
and be Zach Wheeler. Like,
Maybe.
even if he's back in June, is he Zach Wheeler? That's what you're asking. That's a tough ask for a guy coming off of a blood clot in his shoulder. Like, that's a lot for this. So there's a case to be made to bring back Ranger anyways. And the hope all along was that they were going to totally misread Ranger's market and that it was all going to collapse and you'd be able to get it back. Like, I'm still with that hope. And if you want to use the JT money to go towards that, that's fine. I just don't see it as a bigger need than the lineup here because we're going to continue to set our lineup throughout the offseason, and we're going to keep coming back to, is it Adolis Garcia or Alec Bohm batting fourth? And that's enough to cause concern across the board.
But JT doesn't fix that.
No, JT doesn't fix that. Absolutely not.
So would you rather have JT or Ranger?
Probably.
I would say
Probably
Ranger
JT.
Suarez. Here's the other thing. Here's what Dombrowski does, and he's smart. You just can't look at this year. He's also looking at the year after, the year after. Lazardo's a free agent after the season, so he walked. Like he could potentially walk.
Right.
Then you would have Ranger under contract going forward. So you would have Sanchez and Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler going forward under contract. So it solves that problem too because if Lazardo's coming back now, you only have Sanchez and Wheeler.
The issue is the money in the years aren't equal JT Ranger. Like the JT contract for me, I plan on getting out of that after 2 years. With Ranger, and this was the concern of bringing him back, he's a guy that's been off injured in season. He's shown up in the biggest moments, and I don't think you can find anyone in Philadelphia that doesn't like the guy. So don't paint this as like Ray doesn't like Ranger Suarez. I would love to have him back. But one of the biggest reasons why you would argue not to have him back is he's had an injured back consistently. And I don't see that getting better as you get into your 30s. I've never met anyone that once they turn 30, they're like, oh, my back actually feels better than it did in my 20s. Like, that's just...
Maybe me. My back's never been better.
Never been better. It's all that Orange Theory, man. It's all that Orange Theory. Really helped me.
Must be.
But that's kind of the question mark for him is he's the guy that doesn't rely on velocity, so maybe you're not worried about him losing his velocity. But...
yeah, he loses... He runs out of gas mid-season, and then he needs to pick it back up. I don't disagree. I wonder if John Middleton decides luxury tax doesn't matter if the Mets are about to sign him.
Now, that's what we all have to hope for. We got to have to hope, like, you know what? Uncle Stevie's not going to win this one from us.
Could you imagine Ranger Suarez signing with the Mets?
It's gross. It's a very, very gross thing to think about.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
A weekend series. Down in the I would have to look at the schedule. Weekend series, the Mets are over 500. The Phillies are over 500. They're right around each other in the standings. And a weekend series at Citizens Bank Park. And who's making the start on Friday night? Now pitching for the Mets, left-hander Ranger Suarez. Talk about making me want to vomit. Oh, my God.
They have a couple weekends up at Citi Field, I know, because I have a friend up in New York I was going to go visit for him. I can't imagine walking in there, Ranger being cheered as he takes the mound.
I can't have it because I'm not going to hate on him.
Oh, it's hard to.
If the Mets are going to offer him the biggest contract, how can I hate on it? Like if he took less money to go to the Mets instead of going to the American League team, I might feel a certain way about it. But I don't think that's going to happen. Cost of living in New York is very high. You would have to actually make more money to make it even in a lot of other destinations. Well, he wants to win. The Mets give you an opportunity to win. God, don't do it. Go to the Blue Jays. Go to any other team. Go anywhere.
I'll make the case to you right now, Ranger. They're not going to give you a chance to win. All right, they got 2 stars right now. They unloaded everyone else that made them good before. Don't do it. Don't do it. Protect your legacy. Go up to Boston. Go out to L.A. The Angels always need pitching. Go to L.A.
So something else David Murphy wrote today in the Inquirer that I know sometimes baseball markets they develop slowly. Man, the top of this market's developing really slowly. We're in January, and outside of Schwarber and Alonso, and they felt like they were the same player. One was going to go, the other was going to go. No one else is signed. And the big money teams don't have a lot of money to spend. The Yankees don't have a ton of money to spend. Now, the Mets are going to spend a little bit, but they're not spending a ton. So all these big names, who has the money to spend? You have a potential lockout that's looming. You may not see a market. You might actually be able to get a player on a 1-year contract to where it's like, you know what? The hell with JT. Maybe we can get a Bo Bichette for 2 years. Maybe we can get a Kyle Tucker short term. Who knows?
There is the artificial deadline with JT because of pitchers and catchers. They'll want a catcher by the time they get working. So it has to be within the next month. You would think. I don't think he's a March guy. A couple of these guys could be like end of February, like, oh, yeah, you know what? I am just going to show up to Clearwater and be a part of the Phillies.
Let me tell you something. Dave Dombrowski
Fine line.
Isn't a guy that you want to say, well, I'll go in the spring training. He'll move on.
Yeah. I don't think if he's not signed by February, I don't think he's back. We don't find out over the next couple weeks. It was the fun little prop bet. What happens first? The Eagles season ends, JT signs. The Eagles got a playoff game this weekend. I mean, we all said it was JT first, but right now, lie detector test. How do you feel now?
Would you agree that, because we have both said this many times, that it's still extremely likely, it's extremely unlikely he doesn't sign with the Phillies? I don't feel like that anymore. It's moved. To me, it still seems like the most likely scenario, but with every report and every day that goes by where the Phillies have to plan for contingencies. But then you start looking at it and saying, well, this actually might be a better idea than what we had before. Bringing JT back's it's not fixing your lineup at all.
My issue with this is I could see the world where you're going down where it feels like it should move to feel like unlikely he's going to be back. Dave Dombrowski in his head knows, all right, JT walks, I have to come up with probably $10-15 more million to go pay that next free agent, if maybe even more. Like if Bregman's getting 35, JT, you were slotted, what, 17 million for him? 20 million for him? I mean, then you got to take 15 off the books. Maybe some of that comes from Strom. We all assume it would be a Bohm trade. But then you have to go make that Bohm trade, let JT walk, and win the Bregman sweepstakes. That's a very risky proposition for a guy that could take a team, again, that won 96 games a season ago. Right now, you feel your roster's a little lesser than it was a year ago.
You would have to have all the pieces set up to where when one happened, the other things happen right afterwards.
The domino has to fall immediately.
Right.
It's a crazy needle to try and thread there, and I don't know if he's going to be able to thread that needle.
All right, let's take some phone calls. 610-632-0975. Ish has everything to talk about. Ish from Levittown. Hi, Ish. How are you, buddy?
Hi, Johnny. How are you?
What's up, dude?
I agree with you on JT room, so I'm just tired at this point. I don't even want him back. I believe they can get a backup catcher. And I think Marshawn will actually be good. I think JT is just too old. His batting average just went down. His home runs just went down. And it just seems like he's just going to be coddled by the Phillies. And I'm just tired of it at this point. And with the Eagles, I feel like we can beat San Francisco without really doing too much. I think the defense will actually help us out a lot. So that's my thoughts. And is Raymond there today? Is Ray there today?
Yeah, he's in the other room.
Yeah, you heard me while you were on hold.
Oh, hey, Ray, did you had a cup of Raymond soups? Get it? Raymond soups?
No, I don't get it.
That's all I have.
All right, Ish, you get it.
No, I don't get it. Explain it to me.
Really? We actually have a couple of them in the cabinet. I was looking for napkins. Ramen soup.
Yeah, no, I got it. I just want him to swim there for a second. I mean, he had, 20 minutes on hold to think through that?
Well, then he said that's all I got.
Yeah. And he hasn't called in, 2-3 days? We haven't gotten his Ray there probably since last week. He's had multiple days to think about this. Raymond soup is the best you could come up with?
The best he's got.
That's terrible.
It is.
That's feeble. That's Patullo in the second half play calling level. That's bad.
It is bad. Listen, it's just not a top 5 caller, and we don't even have 5 callers on the show.
This is bad. This is very bad.
He's on the outside looking at the top 5 callers, but we don't have a top 5 yet.
But 3, 4, 5 are all wide open right now.
Correct. Got to do better. Got to do better.
He's signed to the practice squad of a team that doesn't have 53 players.
So coming up next, he's on the practice squad with there's no roster. Coming up next, is Colarulo in the house? Has he made it?
I haven't seen him yet. Usually he pops in here because, again, no one has respect for that door. So usually he pops in here.
Like Ricky, and that's coming up later this hour. Ricky yesterday stormed into Ray's studio yelling at him over whatever happened. It's like you did something.
Yes, it's all me. You know what? Fine. If I have to be the villain here, I'll be the villain. I've tried to be a vibes guy for long enough.
You've had it.
I've had it.
By the way,
I've also had his back so many times.
And he called you the scum of the earth.
Scum of the earth.
And he was on TV, not just radio, on TV too.
You know what? I'm going to go into NBC, tomorrow night, and they're going to, all the people there are going to be like, oh, wow, you and Ricky really going after it again. And I'm going to have to be like, yeah, you guys know Ricky. Like, because that's what happened. When the knockout thing happened, everyone was like, is everything okay between you and Ricky? I was like, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, you know me. I'm always about the radio bit, and I've quickly realized that Ricky doesn't understand the radio bit as well as I do. With the knockout talk.
He goes from 0 to 100. That's kind of what it is. He's a reliever. He's a reliever.
He's a reliever.
He
Yes,
dials
he
it up
is.
really quickly.
Yes, he is. All right, so we'll discuss all that. But Bill Colarulo, it's Bill versus Ray coming up next. You know what that means? It means Ray and Bill are going to fight. I had somebody from the Andy Summers show that told me, they're like, man, Bill and Ray used to go at it all the time on the air. And you described it. It wasn't necessarily about the take. It was how he went about it.
I could agree with him on things and find issue with his logic and just the way he presents it. It's almost the way he's talking bothers me. Because he and I would be aligned, and I would want to help him out. Because you battle with Mike.
Sure.
Going up against Mike, you got to be ready for the heavyweight fight. And sometimes I would want to help Bill out because I agree with Bill. But listening to Bill talk, I'm like, Bill, you're killing our argument by making your argument. It's almost bad for us, bad for this side of the argument that you agree with this side of the argument.
All right, he'll be up at 11:30. Your phone call's coming up next as well. 610-632-0975. And we'll put Bill on the Eagles lie detector test as well. We'll see what he says. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The game plan for San Fran. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Morgenstern Hair Restorations. Great teams stick together, and so does great hair. Morgenstern Hair Restoration Championship results. Visit morgensternhair.com or call 610-980-4000. The Eagles get back to the practice field today ahead of the wild card round matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. Two names to watch in the injury report this week. Right tackle Lane Johnson, linebacker Nakobe Dean. As for what they're preparing for on the practice field, Vic Fangio met with the media yesterday and talked about that 49ers offense.
They have a really good scheme. It's all packaged together very nicely. Obviously, Purdy operates it very well. McCaffrey's an elite back. I mean, they had a run where they were hottest offense in the league for 6-7 weeks in a row.
We'll talk about what's working for the 49ers to Chase Sr. at 1 o'clock as he breaks down the matchup of the Birds and the 49ers. Flyers beat the Ducks 5-2 as Trevor Zegras scored 2 goals against his former team in the win. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. Tonight, the 76ers get back to action against the Wizards at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm once-a-year sale and clearances here. Their sleep experts will help you find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. I'm Ray Dunn in your home for the Sixers Flyers, the best bird stock in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Are you going to rap? You don't have to. Fine.
No, we can't.
Sirianni love.
I retired Sirianni love with Mike, man. It doesn't feel the same without Mikey Miss in here, my backup singer.
You don't do it. You just totally retired it? You didn't take it with Ricky?
We haven't done it once since the Super Bowl. We did it at the parade, and I felt like that was a good time to retire it, right?
Agreed.
At the
We all
parade.
know he can coach now. Look at that offense. Humming all season long.
Dude, we asked the question yesterday if
Fine line.
Jalen Hurts and Sirianni were the best head coach quarterback combo left in the NFC.
Yeah.
Fine line.
The amount of people that came at me saying that Sirianni is a fraud, a joke. Like, what else does the guy need to do, though?
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
Seriously, what else does he need to do?
I don't know. Maybe play starters in a game that matters?
I know. I was
So
against
much
that.
good.
I know you were.
I was against that decision.
Because it's silly. They thought that they were going to win the game, and they were fine. We'll beat them with our backups anyway.
They almost did.
Yeah, if they would have had an offensive coordinator who knew what the hell he was doing, that's part of the problem. And it's part of the problem with the playoffs is that now you have to make the case that Kevin Patullo against the better the better defensive coordinators can actually go out and play a full game of football or call plays for a full game.
Yeah, I think we're going to get into that a little bit on the air because I heard you talking earlier today, too. People are confident they're going to win the Super Bowl, but then at the same time saying, can't wait to fire Kevin Patullo. And it's like, well, if they go to the Super Bowl, Patullo keeps his job.
No, shut up. They are going to the Super Bowl. Stop being negative. Sirianni's a fraud, and Patullo's going to get fired. But everything else is great.
I saw people on social that Sirianni should be replaced by Harbaugh. Like, what are we doing here?
All right, so Danny Parkins, who used to do Chicago radio, and the ratings that he got were absolutely horrible. But somehow people thought he was a good radio host. So he does the FS1. What's he on FS1 now? He was with Craig Carton.
I think he's now doing First Things First with Nick Wright.
Oh,
Right?
well,
I
that's
think
his
they
buddy.
welcomed into that. Yeah.
That's his buddy. They went to Syracuse together. He puts out, in my opinion, if any of these three teams lose in the playoffs, they'll have conversations about firing their coach for John Harbaugh. And one of them was the Eagles.
I know. It's not happening.
And it's either you're dumb or you're just putting that out there to try to rile people up.
And when you put stuff out about the Eagles, it gets clicks.
Right.
It gets clicks.
He doesn't believe it because Danny's actually intelligent, and they're not firing Nick Sirianni to bring in John Harbaugh.
Now, I know I'm here to talk Fly Guys, but last thing about the Eagles. You played a clip earlier from Rappaport talking about how Harbaugh lost the locker room. Well, he's a CEO coach, right? He loses the locker room. When people ask, what does Sirianni do? As a CEO coach, these guys play for him every damn week.
Right.
That's important, man. But anyway.
No, it is. But Harbaugh's 18 years. It's just time to move on. That bringing in different offensive coordinators and doing this, doing that. The reality is Lamar didn't want to play for him anymore. So either you're moving on from Lamar Jackson, which the Ravens made a good decision and didn't do, or you move on from the head coach.
I thought there was a chance they were going to move on from Lamar.
I think that's what was being reported.
Yeah,
Look out for Lamar because he's a real pain in the ass too. He doesn't have an agent.
He's got a huge cap hit next year.
Yep.
But all right, we're talking some puck right now.
What about those Fly Guys, Bill Colarulo? You must have been. What were you doing last night watching the game?
Unbelievable, man. I almost went down there, but I felt like my wife would have been upset because I'm going to the game on Thursday. I got an event on Friday. I'll be at the Eagles game on Sunday. So I'm like, all right, I got to go home and watch it. And I'm on the edge of my seat. I mean, that is Flyers hockey right there. That's bringing you back to the memories we had growing up with the Legion of Doom. And this team's exciting now, man. This is an exciting Flyers team.
I said it to start the show. The very beginning of the show, I said, we're going to talk about the Eagles in 2 minutes, but I got to tell you, I haven't felt like that since maybe Primo, like a little bit of that area, Laviolette. That was fun, but that was also short-lived.
It was.
But that was Legion of Doom. It felt like a playoff game where the Sabres were coming in and those goons that were on those
Matthew
Sabres
Barnaby.
teams. There's fights that were going on. That was awesome. There's personality on this team. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This team is exciting. They're going to make the playoffs. We're going to get playoff hockey in South Philadelphia, and that's why it was a good move to lock up Christian Dvorak, Ray Dunn.
Which starts us Bill versus Ray. So, Bill, you believe Christian Dvorak was signed to a 5-year contract extension?
5 years, and he turns 30 next month, so that's why people are upset.
But you think it was a good move?
I think it was a great move for several reasons, right? Do you want me to go first
yes,
here?
you go
right
first.
ahead. Right, great move.
Several reasons. Number one, yeah, the guy's having a career season, right? I get that, and people are looking back at the history and saying, well, he's never played this well. You don't give a 30-year-old a 5-year deal. But there's a lot of reasons this is smart. Number one, the salary cap in the NHL is going up every single year for the next couple of years. you had to sacrifice a little bit on the years because your AAV is not going to be high. In a couple years, when you're paying him a little over $5 million a year with where the salary cap's going to be, it's going to look like an absolute bargain. Secondly, Trevor Zegras. You like Trevor Zegras? You happy he's on the team?
Yes, I'm a fan. Thank you.
Great move.
Yeah, great move. He loves Christian Dvorak. Their chemistry on the ice is incredible. So by locking up Dvorak, you think maybe that's going to help you lock up Trevor Zegras a little bit? I think so, right? So that's a big move. Third, Rick Tocchet knows this guy better than anybody. Dvorak played for Rick Tocchet, so he understands the player that this guy is. And the most important thing that this does is it signals to not only the fan base, but it signals to everybody in that room, we are done selling. We are ready to compete. Oh, I see a lot of fans out there, oh, you should have dangled them at the trade deadline. Why? You got a team that is competing with the best teams in the NHL. You want to trade away your number one center right now who has great chemistry with your best player in Trevor Zegras? There would be no reason to do that. And then the last thing I keep seeing, oh, he would have signed for 2 or 3 years. If he would have signed for 2 or 3 years, they would have given him 2 or 3 years. So you had to get 5 years to lock him down. It was the right move for so many reasons, but Flyers fans are never happy. And I guarantee you the Flyers fans out there listening, oh, this guy doesn't know hockey.
Honestly,
Stop
Ray,
talking.
Bill against Flyers fans is the best rivalry going on in the city right now because he's a diehard, longtime Flyer fan, but for whatever reason, they won't admit you into their club.
They will not.
It's awesome.
They will not. I got Russ Joy coming after me now.
Russ Joy's attacking you?
Oh, yeah, he's coming after me because I said now they need a first-line center and a number 1 D. I get that's not easy.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that's like saying
you were going to say that on the air.
Yes, so people are coming at me for that, but really, I mean, if this team is somehow able to, like the Quinn Hughes, I get they couldn't get him, but you get a guy like that in here, this team becomes not only a contender, maybe a favorite to win the Stanley Cup.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, I know you love Quinn Hughes.
All right, Ray.
That was where I really was hoping you would go when you said the first line center, first line defender. Yeah, if the Phillies could just find a right-handed power bat that plays the outfield and just will hit fourth for him and hit 30 homers, that'd be great. Listen, when you look at this Dvorak side, the reason why I'm skeptical of it, 5 years, you mentioned, 30 years old in February. It's next month he turns 30 years old. He's having a career year right now, and you are going to have a 30-year-old center and a 33-year-old center under contract for the next 5 years. Is the rebuild done?
Yes.
Yeah, I think look, they're not.
So they've extracted everything they can out of this rebuild. It's full go at this point.
When you say is the rebuild done, is this team complete? No. But they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to compete in the playoffs. I don't have crazy visions they're going to the Stanley Cup, but they're going to compete. So rebuild to me signals you're losing, you're selling at the deadline. They're not doing that anymore.
Okay, so the rebuild's complete. So what you have right now in terms of premium assets is what you are entering the window of contention with. Because now they're competing. Now it's no more top draft picks. We're not talking about, hey, we're selling this off, We're not losing anymore. If we're not losing anymore, you have 2 centers that, if you're being honest with yourself, Dvorak and Couturier, when they get to Stanley Cup level contention, what line should they be on?
All right, Couturier should be your 4th line center.
Okay.
Like, I'm okay moving Couturier down to the 4th line.
Where's Dvorak?
Dvorak right now is your number 1 center,
I know
which
he's
is
your number 1 right now,
which is
when
too
you get
high.
to Stanley Cup contention.
So he could become either your 3rd line center, or if all of these youngsters that everybody's worried about, the 19 and 18-year-olds who play center in the farm system right now, if they all come up and they're ready, you move Dvorak to the wing. No, he has the versatility to play wing.
So you're telling, okay, they move him to the wing. If all this works out, the problem is with that, a lot of people are saying they made this signing because they're disappointed in the development of those centers in their farm system.
Correct. And those people are talking about 18-year-old and 19-year-old kids. So they're saying, oh, they must have given up on those guys. You're talking about an 18-year-old kid. And literally, an 18-year-old. Who can project whether or not that 18-year-old is going to turn out in the next 3 or 4 years to be an NHL caliber top 6 center?
You love doing this. The people who are paid to do it, that is their job. Their job is to say, is it worth signing Dvorak to a 5-year contract? In 4 years, is Dvorak going to be more valuable to this organization than that 18-year-old? That's why you signed him to a contract.
But here's what you're missing, and this is why I brought up the salary cap. In 3 or 4 years, when you're paying Christian Dvorak $5 million a year with where the salary cap is, it's a bargain. So if he is a 3rd-line wing or a 3rd-line center at that point, I'm okay with it. He also can kill penalties. He's been playing on the power play. He is such an important piece to this locker room and to this team. You're not giving up on the 18 and 19-year-olds. But what you're doing is you're signaling that we have a guy that is great for this team right now. Why are we going to give him up?
You're not giving up on them, but you're watching 40 games worth of a career year and saying, yeah, we're signing up for the entire 30-year-old experience of this guy who is having the best year of his life right now. Let's put a 5-year commitment to that when you already have another 5-year commitment still for another center in his 30s.
Hey, I don't miss Ray at all on Middays.
No.
I don't miss him at all. Listen, did you enjoy watching the game last night?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What would you have done, Danny? Would you have traded him at the deadline, Christian Dvorak?
I don't need to make a 5-year commitment to him right now.
All right, so what would you have done? Because if you didn't give him the 5-year deal,
went to free agency.
He would have hit free agency this summer. So you would have been, what would you have done? Would you have let him walk for nothing? Because I'm sure Flyers fans would have loved that one. You don't trade him at the deadline. You don't give him a contract extension, and he just walks in free agency. That would have been the smart move, right? That would have been the smart move.
Are we at the point in the rebuild where we're trying to compete? Because
yes. Look at this team.
Briere said the timeline hasn't changed. Timeline hasn't changed that we're giving 5 years to a guy having a career year just to protect the competing this year.
Yeah, but the timeline does change.
He said it doesn't.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's actually true.
He met with the media last night. Of course he's going to say the timeline hasn't changed. What are you going to say? Oh, yeah, we're competing for the cup now? Like, yes, the timeline hasn't changed. This team is building. They're continuing to develop their young players. Look, the team is fun. It's exciting. I don't believe that you should have traded this guy at the deadline, and I certainly don't think you should have let him walk in free agency.
All right, there he is. Bill Colarulo gets the technical knockout. He wins that one.
YouTube's taking Ray's side.
Is that right?
Well, they're mad at me because our show's not on YouTube anymore.
You left. You
so they think I've abandoned them. I'm still fighting to get us back on YouTube.
I know.
I love you guys. See you too.
Right, there he is. That's Bill Colarulo. He wins by TKO over Raymond Dunks. I'm the official.
Wait. We're having you judge the hockey?
No, it's not about the hockey. It's about the argument. He gave the argument, and I thought he did a better job.
Well, he had a 5-minute warm-up. I was sitting here waiting to get in on this.
I know nothing about Christian Dvorak or anything like that. And
you gave him the argument.
But you know why? Because they need him right now. And it's more important right now that you keep winning games and that you go forward. This isn't a 5-year contract for $5 million a year isn't making or breaking this franchise. They're not winning without other guys. They're not losing. Like, they need more talent. And, like, is Christian Dvorak stopping you from getting more talent?
Potentially.
Why?
Because you just committed a 5-year deal to the guy you gave him no trade clause. He's having a career year.
Not a ton of money.
Okay, whatever.
All right, coming up. So yesterday on speaking of Bill and Unfiltered, yesterday all chaos is happening here at the station. Ricky Bo pegged the ball because he throws balls around the office. It made a cup of coffee explode. Ray got wet with the coffee. It wasn't cleaned up. Ricky was all mad. He was storming. We'll go through the entire thing. That's coming up next. Middays with Marks. Don't go anywhere.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m.
All right, back Middays with Marks. You watch it on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to 97.5 The Fanatic on YouTube. I put out a fresh Phillies episode last night, Phillies Hot Stove. You can find that on the Fanatic YouTube. Check it out. Not right now because you're listening to the show right now. But when you get home later on or whatever, there you go. Just make sure you like and subscribe to us on YouTube. All right, Ray, lay this out for us because I didn't even know until you went on the air yesterday in the morning show what happened. So when did the coffee incident happen?
Monday afternoon.
Monday afternoon, you're here.
Right.
A ball gets thrown. Ricky throws balls at people.
Yep.
Was it the hard orange ball?
Yeah.
It misses, and it goes elsewhere in the room, and there's a cup of coffee that's been
sitting there, I guess, for a long time.
However long.
That cup has been sitting there for a while. So to lay this out, there are 2 desks in our back area that people prepare at. They're back to each other. I'm at the one closest to our studio, and there's one sitting behind me. Now, there's 2 shelves next to those desks holding various things that haven't been touched in 5 years. I mean, there are books up there that were promotional things probably in the 2010s that have not been taken down from those shelves.
For years, yeah.
And there's a cup on one of those shelves that's just been sitting there. Little did we know there was coffee in it. We found out there was coffee in it because Ricky geared up and I guess threw the ball at it, I'm assuming, or threw the ball towards it. I mean, the projectiles are flying all the time in commercial breaks during Unfiltered. So I don't know where he was directing it, but he hit the cup. The cup goes flying, and I'm like, oh, God, what is that? I turn around, and there is now coffee all over the place, and now it's, on my back.
And it's on you.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm annoyed, but I'm going to carry on with my day. And Ricky just laughs, carries on, and it's like, there's all this coffee back there. Like, that's kind of ridiculous.
Ricky went and got paper towels and cleaned it up.
No, the coffee just sat there on the desk, and he said, it'll dry. And the it'll dry was dried up coffee on the desk that Salciunas uses to prepare the morning show.
By the way, dried up coffee that may have been there for a month or longer.
Definitely longer. I mean, that cup's been sitting there for a while. I had no idea there was coffee in that cup. Like, that's gross, whatever it was. I mean, I could have had some sort of disease-infested coffee at the lamp.
So Andrew comes in 5 o'clock in the morning. There's this dried coffee everywhere. So he's annoyed, and he finds out that what happened.
And then he takes a video of it and says, they're launching an investigation on the morning show.
Right.
And I came in, and I was like, I've stood up for Ricky a number of times. Like, a number of times throughout the years. Like, there are things at this station that have happened that Ricky's done that I've kept my mouth shut and will forever.
Some say you're as big as advocate here at the station.
I really try to advocate for Ricky all the time. Despite...
Who the hell is Ray Dunn?
Despite that, I like to think that I've been a big advocate for Ricky here at the station. But I was a little annoyed about the coffee hitting me, and I kind of wanted it to be a little, let's clean up the behavior. So I went on the morning show, and I said my piece, that Ricky did it. It's getting ridiculous. And I can't get any work done after the show because they're just animals.
So yesterday during the Mike Golick interview, Ricky comes barreling in your studio, right? Yelling at you.
You live it. He comes in here yelling at me. How could you do that? You're a backstabber. Why would you say that? I know who I can't trust now. And I'm like, we have Mike Golick on the air. Like, I don't know if you heard, this guy did like 25 years of national radio. Like, he's giving us good Eagles stuff right now. I'm trying to produce a program. Like, we could deal with this another time.
Right.
He gets angry and erases the whiteboard. Conrad so nicely set up the whiteboard for playoff predictions, for everyone to write down their things. And
so he has a temper tantrum and erases the whiteboard.
Erases the whiteboard, and now the whiteboard in here says Ray is a backstabber. And then he goes on the afternoon show.
And then before, when we got off and they came in, like, I looked at Ricky. His eyes were like, they were like moving. He was so angry. I could tell that he was angry. Like, Ricky's angry. So then yesterday on Unfiltered, this is how it sounded.
Let's start by clean up after yourself, dude. Those guys on the morning show are the biggest slobs, pigs I've ever met in my life.
You know what I'm hearing right now?
You deflecting.
Really? You're deflecting.
No,
did you or did you not
Absolutely.
leave the car?
I knocked it over. Yes.
Oh, you're admitting it.
I knocked it over, but what ass leaves a cup of coffee on a table?
But you got to clean it up, man.
I'm not cleaning it up. They don't clean up jack.
Yeah, but
they are the dirtiest people in the world.
But what do you do when you spill milk? Put newspaper over it like Big Daddy and just keep going about your day?
I don't. You know what? You want me to regret what I did? No, I don't. Bill, you've seen me clean the counters out there for who? Am I cleaning up from what I've done or from what people in the past have done before me?
So he goes to defend himself there. And then and later on in his defense, he calls me scum of the earth.
He does.
And then he ends up calling scum of the earth and says that we're weasels.
He said
Like
there's
Dylan
two
and I.
here, you and Dylan, but you're number one.
Right. Which
Right.
I just thought about last night, and I'm sitting there thinking about everything that happened and transpired today. I was like, sometime in the mid-'90s, my dad went down to Veterans Stadium, and he watched Ricky Pitalico pitch on the mound. Could my dad ever could have imagined that guy trying to close out that game for the Phillies would have called his son scum of the earth?
That's quite an honor,
Yeah.
actually.
He was an all-star in 96, and he thinks I'm scum of the earth. I mean, that's a good honor for me. That's a badge of honor.
And Patricia Caputo, who you heard in that cut right there, she tried to say, you got to clean it up, and Ricky yelled at her.
Yeah, I said, you're just a fill-in.
You're just a fill-in.
It's like, wow.
It was very entertaining.
Meanwhile, Savannah's sitting on some beach in San Diego.
She certainly is. Enjoying life. All right. So you think everything's squashed and Ricky will have gotten over it by...
No, we talked about it. I mean, this is the easiest way to get him upset again.
Right.
Yeah. No, I want it to be squashed. I have no problem with Ricky. What continually happens here?
He gets mad at you.
Right. And I have to think it's working with Bill.
Yeah, but wasn't he like that before Bill?
I don't feel like we ever went after each other like that.
Bill definitely is egging him on, and he was doing a good job instigating it yesterday, as he should have. But, I mean, listen, you throw the ball, the coffee cup explodes, you got to clean it up.
You would think.
I don't blame Andrew at all for posting the video. I would have. And let me just say this, and I'm being fair and objective, and I like Ricky. The morning show they're not slobs. At least in this studio, there's not stuff ever left in the studio, ever. There's never any food left in here. I've worked with a lot of slobs. The morning show, that is not fair to say they're the biggest slobs ever. Not at all. This studio is actually in good shape.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, it's totally unfair. A lot that he threw out there was unfair. I'm personally offended by being called scum of the earth.
I would be too.
That hurts. Knowing all that I've gone to bat for Ricky and all that I've done to protect Ricky in these four walls,
But he's also hurting your reputation. You work at NBC Sports Philadelphia. You go down there. There may be people down there being like, what's going on with Ray?
I saw someone tweet out that I'm not a team player because of this incident.
Right.
And it's like, I'm not good. I'm not the guy that's running to the teacher to tell what happened. But in this case, I was harmed. I felt it was wrong. And you know what? Sometimes you got to take a stand for what's
Did he say
wrong.
he was sorry when he threw the ball and coffee exploded on you?
What do you think he said he was sorry? He wasn't sorry he spilled the coffee. You think he's sorry the coffee got on me?
I would have said, I'm sorry. I would have, he obviously didn't mean to do that.
No,
but he
obviously
also
didn't mean to do it.
also that ball's always getting whizzed around the
Right. I think a lot of fun is had between Dylan and Ricky and throwing the ball at each other. That's great.
I want nothing to do with it.
No, I don't want anything to do with it either. I'm trying to stay out of the way.
Yeah. Coming up, I can't wait for this news at noon. Ocho Cinco, LeBron, and Joe Judge. Do you have Judge Joe Brown, or is this the football coach Joe Judge?
The football coach Joe Judge.
If you were going best modern court judge,
Judge Judy. 1A.
I hate Judge Judy.
It's unfortunate.
We'll break it down coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The game plan for San Fran. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance is here. Their sleep experts will help you find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. The Eagles get back on the practice field today ahead of the wild card round matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. Two names to watch on the injury report this week are right tackle Lane Johnson and linebacker Nakobe Dean. As for what you're watching for on the practice field, Kevin Patullo talked to the media yesterday about preparing for San Francisco.
Do a good job. They're really, really well coached. Coach Saleh does a good job. He's done a good job for a long time. They fly around with the ball. They're very physical. I mean, they play extremely hard. They're disciplined. So it's going to be a good test.
We'll talk about that test with Chase Sr. coming up at 1 o'clock. The Flyers beat the Ducks 5-2 as Trevor Zegras scored 2 goals against his former team in the win. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. Tonight, the 76ers back in action against the Wizards at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Corona. Join Andrew and Ricky Bowe this Sunday at 4:30 for the Birds playoff watch party at New Deck Tavern, the official 97.5 The Fanatic watch party location. $5 Corona Extra and $5 Modelo Drafts, giveaways, and exclusive Go Birds tees. Sponsored by Corona. LaPlaya awaits. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the Sixers Flyers, the best Birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Right, we're back. Middays with Marks, 97.5. The Fanatic, the 12 o'clock hour of the program will be brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months. Rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more, ServiceFirstHVAC.com. News at noon coming here in a second. Ray, I know you said you were driving in this morning, and what did you see?
A Waymo.
Where did you see it?
Going down Fairmount, I think it was, or I was going down Gerard. Might have been Poplar, one of those.
So if you don't know, we've talked about the Waymos. Waymos are the driverless cars.
Yes.
They're the Ubers that are it's a computer, like a robot driving it.
Death machine.
Yeah. So I rode one in Phoenix, and I thought it was really cool. It's weird, but it's cool.
Ugly.
So I told you that.
Yeah.
The first thing you noticed, it's very noticeable because it's this weird car that has all these cameras all over the place because that's how it can drive.
Yeah, kind of fat.
Yeah, it's not the sleekest looking car. So that's for the first time I noticed it. I looked and I'm like, what is that car? And I'm like, why is there nobody driving it? And someone had to tell me that's a Waymo. And I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Not fat.
So they're testing in Philly, and they're actually out on the streets right now. Ray saw one today.
I saw one, and I drove a little bit faster to get away.
So you're not going to. How often do you take an Uber or a Lyft?
Pretty often.
So you were not going to go Waymo?
No Waymo.
Why not?
I want a driver.
Give it a shot.
No.
Do you always want a driver?
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
Do you talk to the driver?
Sometimes. Depends. You can kind of feel out the vibe when you get in the car.
I agree.
Yeah, it's either like a, hey, how's your night? Or like a, hello.
You know Herb used to be an Uber driver, right?
Yeah, we need to get that story from him about why he's not.
They fired him.
Right.
I don't.
I need the why they fired him.
You may not
two
get
and two together.
You may not get the answer, but because I've tried before. But yeah, he no longer can drive Uber or Lyft.
He's going to become like a Belichick level in terms of us questioning him, where he's going to be just like, all right, next question, move on.
Correct.
Until he gets to his Eagles point of block left, block
Just
right.
for content, can you take a Waymo? And then you can take a video and you can talk about it. For content's sake, please, take a Waymo.
For content's sake, just let me write up a few things that I want people to know before I go.
You can do. Listen, Trust and Will is a good website. You can go get a Trust or a Will.
Well, it's not really a will. It's just more of a like, hey, you take care of this, you take care of that.
Here's the password to this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You should throw this out. That type of stuff.
Do you have a cat that you need somebody to take care of? Or?
No. I can barely take care of myself. You think I've got a pet?
That's true. All right, time for the news at noon.
This city needs its news.
Now, it's time for
I'd like to be remembered as a good newsman.
the News at Noon
That's the coolest story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane.
with Ray Dunn.
All right, we're going to start with the nightcap. Chad Ochocinco, Shannon Sharp. And this is an early contender for Clip of the Year on the internet because it's gone viral like 6 different times now in the 24 hours that it's existed. Ochocinco's talking about dating a girl in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then wants to show off his North Carolina knowledge. I'll play this in full for you.
You never been to Charlotte.
Who ain't never been to Charlotte?
You!
What you talking about, man? I've been to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Matter of fact, I used to date a girl in Charlotte. Yeah. Never forget, 2003. I wonder how she doing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how she doing. Yeah, in Charlotte. I've been to Charlotte twice. I've been to Raleigh. I've been to Raleigh twice.
You mean Raleigh?
Raleigh.
Oh, okay. Close enough.
That's how you say it? How you say it again?
Raleigh.
You for real?
Yeah.
But it's spelled R-A-L-E-I-G-H.
Raleigh.
That's Raleigh.
Close enough.
Shannon Sharp's funny.
That's Raleigh.
He said it. Shannon Sharp's funny. Raleigh.
Close enough.
Raleigh.
The clip is so great because he takes a sip of his drink every time. He says Raleigh.
I saw it.
Close enough.
And he was dead serious. I bet he's been to a lot of states or cities for women.
A variety of reasons. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For women
Mostly.
When you're single, why not? Right. When I was single, I had friends around the country.
Of course.
Maybe you go visit.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You hop on flights.
But you normally know how to pronounce where you're going.
How many times you hop on a flight, John Marks?
How many?
Yeah.
More than one?
Okay.
Yeah. Sure, Chicago.
All right. Yeah, fair.
California.
Okay.
Florida.
Yeah. All right. I was just curious.
Yeah.
No,
this is many years ago.
Right, of course. Many years ago.
This is when I was like you in the radio business. I was working with Mike. I had my weekends off sometimes.
Yeah. And you just try to maximize the 72 hours you get away from
I didn't have real responsibility.
Really, 60 hours. Yeah,
Anyway.
no, I understand catching a flight to go somewhere. Makes sense.
There you go.
All right, next up here. Take you to the Mind the Game pod. LeBron James getting a breakdown basketball. But we're doing this simply because he's throwing flowers at the feet of Tyrese Maxey. Here is the king talking about Tyrese.
That's God-given right there. That's God-given speed and talent. And he said, you know what? I know, what I was possessed with, and I'm going to take full advantage of it and not only use that to my advantage, but also it creates so much, like you said, that downhill pressure at the rim. But also a lot of guys know his speed, so they try to cut him off, and his ability to have a tight handle and snatch back and hit those step back threes, and get to the free throw line and make his mid-range, and make his floater. The kid has everything, and he's one of the best, point guards, obviously not only in the Eastern Conference, but, in the NBA.
He's telling the truth. If he wasn't a Rich Paul client, I don't know if he's waxing so poetically about Tyrese Maxey.
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
How much do you think that's tied into it?
All of it.
All of it?
Every last drop. It doesn't mean that he wouldn't have thought the same thing, but if he's not represented by Rich Paul, I don't know if he cares to publicize it.
I feel like he would get to it. He's giving him.
Well, how did it get brought up?
They're going over all-star voting early on and all that type of stuff because Maxey's been a high voter. And also they were in Philly, a couple weeks ago at this point now.
Right. Okay,
So-
all right. Maybe he I think some of it's influenced by Rich Paul. I mean, he had why wouldn't you back one of your guys? That's one of his guys.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to gush on him more than maybe somebody else. And by the way, he deserves it.
Yeah, he does deserve it. That's kind of the point here. Is it's amazing to listen LeBron talk about Tyrese in that way, no matter how influenced it could be by the fact that they share an agent, that Rich Paul wants that out there. We've hit the point of all NBA team conversation.
Yep.
With the way this continues.
Yeah. He's not going to win the MVP, but if I looked at the MVP odds right now, where is he? What would you just guess? Because I don't know the answer to it. Top 5?
8?
Top 10?
I would have him 8. Just gut feeling. Pull
All
up
right.
the sportsbook right now.
I'm going on the BetParks app as we speak right now. Going to the NBA futures. And right now for the most valuable player, Tyrese Maxey, SGA is number 1. Tyrese Maxey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. Tied with Anthony Edwards, plus 15,000. SGA minus 500, Luka plus 700, Cade Cunningham plus 2,000, Brunson plus 4,000, Jaylen Brown plus 4,000. And you have Edwards and Maxey. So, I mean, look at the names that we're talking about right there, Ray.
Yeah. Thunder have hit a bit of a skid, too. I can't imagine that stays minus 500 much longer.
Yeah.
All right. Last one for you.
Yep.
I could not find audio of this. I spent way too much time trying to find audio of this.
So you just quit?
I
don't blame you.
Legitimately, hour last night.
Okay.
Dying on the internet. Woke up this morning, rolled over. Another 15, 20 minutes trying to just please find audio of this. Fiesta Bowl Media Day. Ole Miss coach Joe Judge asked about how hectic this week has been. Reportedly, he said, "My next door neighbor was Aaron Hernandez. I know this is more chaotic."
Wow.
What an absurd thing to say. And I've seen this go, circulate. The guy that put this out there is Brian Fisher, 48,000 followers, writes about college athletics for Sports Illustrated. Like, this is one of those quotes. I kept seeing it. I'm like, the entire world's got to be proven wrong by this. There's no way this is a real quote.
And you confirmed it is.
It's incredible. I mean, it's one of the more wild things you could ever imagine to think, utter, and then say. Like, again, my next door neighbor was Aaron Hernandez. I know this is more chaotic. Really comparing the Ole Miss LSU college football playoff transition.
He thought he was being funny.
Yeah.
Joe Judge, the pride of Lansdale Catholic.
That's right. Forgot he was local.
Yep. Sean McDermott, local. LaSalle. Why are all these coaches Catholics?
Kevin Stefanski?
Devin Stefanski, St. Joe's Prep, right? Yeah. Hey, it's just, you go to one of the big schools.
How far are we from Nate getting a head coaching job?
Yeah, Nate has more has more of a Catholic background than any of these guys. He's going to get a hockey job. Nate Tennyson.
Yeah, Nate was in the YouTube chat defending the Dvorak extension as well.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't like the whole Flyer thing. It's strange to me because I don't understand why Bill wouldn't be considered in the club, considering he like with the Eagles. You don't get infighting where it's like, oh, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, like no, like Bill's been following hockey his whole life. He's been following Flyers his whole life. Why isn't he allowed to have opinions on stuff?
Yeah, now I can say this because he's not here and he's busy doing a show. He knows hockey. He's
does.
Grown up around hockey. If you go across the board of like hosts in this city and people talk about sports in the city, he's probably a top 5 in terms of caring, and I would argue probably a top 5 also in terms of just like general base knowledge on the sport.
John Kincaid's big Flyers fan. He can talk hockey. Colarulo, and that's why I'm pushing him to do a YouTube show on the Fanatic YouTube because he could do 15 minutes a couple days a week on the Flyers and it'd be good stuff. So there you go. All right, that's news at noon. The top TV judge of all time, you said Judge Judy, and it's true because of how much money she made and the success she had. She also was mean.
Yeah, that was the best part.
I know, but like if you're going on this show because you truly want the issue litigated, and it is a small claims court, I know maybe you don't go to Judge Judy, but you at least deserve a fair chance. And she doesn't give it to you. She never actually listens to either people. She just yells at him and tries to humiliate him, then she moves on. So I'm anti-Judge Judy. I think she's terrible, actually.
I'm incredibly pro.
Yeah,
You decided to settle on television. They got to make theater out of it.
No, I agree, but you don't have to insult people and make them look stupid. And at the very least, you're still a judge. And it's up to you to be fair and to come with the proper decision. I've seen her make errors many times.
All right, season 1, Judge Judy. You go on there, maybe it's unfair that she's giving you that treatment. Season 2, you know what you're signing up for.
But season
Welcome
30.
to the Thunderdome. Like, she's going to go after your personal life. She's going to call you an idiot. This is how it goes.
She made more. She was at one point every year. She was the highest paid person on television. She made so much money in syndication she's making like $50 million a year.
She's the GOAT.
Judge Judy. Now, see, I liked like Marianne. Is it Mary Ellen or Marianne Milan, the most recent People's Court judge? I used to DVR People's Court and watch it.
So you've got like a list that you prefer over Judge Judy.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
Wapner's obviously the GOAT, Judge Wapner.
Yeah, sure.
But
why not?
Judge Mathis at least had some humor to him.
All right, yeah, Judge Mathis I could put on the Mount Rushmore.
But that was also, yeah, like you couldn't take that serious because he's cracking jokes and stuff. He just wasn't mean to people.
Right, he's more of a laid back.
And I think he cared because he actually cared about the people, and he was somebody that liked to work in the Detroit community. Judge Joe Brown was horrible and boring, so boring. That's what brought this up. Judge Joe Brown, Joe Judge.
Yeah. I can't say I watched a lot of Judge Joe Brown. Mathis was a little bit. Judge Judy was appointment television. Still is. Judy Justice. I forget what streaming network that's on.
It's not on Fox 29?
Is it on Fox 29?
I got to believe it is.
Yeah, that shows how often I'm scrolling the channels nowadays. If it is, that's appointment television. You see Judge Judy on your television screen, you're going to watch her belittle at least one person.
Correct.
And that's...
you like it. You like to see people humiliated.
But that's what they sign up for at this point. Like, don't sign with Bill Belichick's team if you don't want to be coached hard. Like, don't go on Judge Judy's show. There's other judge shows for you to have your claim settled here. You chose to go into that arena. You got to be prepared for it.
It's like if you go on Maury for a paternity test, it's not going to be like if you went to a social worker for a paternity test.
Exactly. Like, oh, you are not the father. And you're like... Oh, all right. And you, just have no reaction to it. It's like, why'd you show up here? Like, you have to have a reaction.
If you could watch one TV talk show right now, what would it be? Because you're a little bit young for the maybe you're right in the wheelhouse of that. I feel like that when you were young was when the height of the trashy TV talk shows were.
Yeah. I don't know what.
Springer was kind of already cooked.
Yeah, Springer was gone at that point.
Jenny Jones was done.
I mean, Maury Povich is always interesting.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's embarrassing he's in his 80s still doing these shows. I think it's actually over now.
Always is in, heyday Maury Povich is always interesting. I can't say I've sat down and watched any of that, trashy television recently.
So you don't even know any of it.
Right. If I'm going to watch trashy television, it's like this summer, and this is part of doing research, and our YouTube chat got angry at me. Love Island was a big thing. I absolutely was tapped in on that.
You watched it?
I heard enough women talk about it. I was like, yeah, let me go look at this.
Did you like it, though?
It's hilarious. It's one of those it's so bad it's good type of things.
Okay.
It's a terrible concept, but in that terrible concept, it's hilarious to watch these people try and operate. I was a fan.
Heard about it, did not watch it.
Well, it's a big commitment. It was like consistent, like every single day. I ended up binging to catch up. I had too much time on my hands.
There you go. Right, we started the show by talking about an honest conversation as Eagles fans, how we feel going into this game, right? Because after I thought it was interesting after the decision to sit the starters. I was actually surprised. It felt like more people backed the team than was angry that they lost the game. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think there are more people mad at us than mad at the team.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that. I thought it was an incredibly dumb decision not to play the starters, a lot of what we got was, oh, I don't care. You put any team in front of the Eagles, we're going to beat them. It's like, hold on a second. Where's this confidence coming from? You're going to beat any team now? We hate the offensive coordinator and the head coach. We're going to beat any team. So we posed the question and we said, okay, if we were putting you on a lie detector test, and we were saying, do you really believe that the Eagles, this is the beginning of a Super Bowl run? Do you feel that way? And the Eagles certainly have a shot to win the Super Bowl. This is not negative John where, they got no chance to win it. No, but I also, I can't lie about how I truly feel. I don't feel like this is the start of a Super Bowl run. It doesn't feel like that for numerous reasons. I may feel a lot different if they beat the 49ers and next week they're taking on the Bears. I probably am going to feel a little bit different. But as it stands right now, this team doesn't feel like it's at the beginning of a Super Bowl run. Like last year. Last year felt like they were winning the Super Bowl. They felt like the best team in football. They were. That doesn't even remotely feel like it did last year, right?
No, it doesn't feel that way. I don't go into this postseason with the overwhelming, you put any team in front of this team, I could see them knocking them out. Like last year, when they get to the Lions game, that's going to be really interesting. Other than that, I was like, that's fine. I go into the first week of this postseason like, man, this is going to be really interesting. And then the way everything else plays out, this is going to be pretty interesting. Last year, it was like, yeah, NFC Championship game, that'll be a heck of a game. Until then, they're going to take care of business.
Last year was confidence. And you're right. I had the same feeling, which was it'll be a tough place to win in Detroit. That's a good team up there. But you weren't afraid of the Lions. You were interested in what could possibly happen. Then they lose. And you're thinking, yep, Eagles are going. They can win like this. And they did. But maybe a reset if you beat the 49ers coming up on Sunday. And then you have to face the Bears. And if you're impressive in beating the 49ers, maybe the offense looks a little bit different. But it does not feel like the beginning of a Super Bowl run. So we put some people on the lie detector at 610-632-0975, 610-632-0975. And the responses we got were, yeah, the Eagles can absolutely win the Super Bowl. This can happen and that can happen. All right, does this feel like the beginning of a Super Bowl run? No. The lie detector has told. The Eagles lie detector has told, and a lot of people are saying it doesn't feel like it. If I'm sharing my true and honest feelings. The text line also weighed in, Ray, and I'm not sure exactly what we got on the text line, but I know you have some text talking about the Eagles there.
Yeah, Pete from Drexel Hill here. Call me delusional, but I'm confident. We'll beat the Niners, go to Chicago. The Bears don't scare me one damn bit. Even in Chicago, they're not running for 280 yards on us again. If we play Seattle, it'll be tough, but their stadium scares me more than their team. Go Birds.
It really is a week-to-week thing now. Last year, it didn't feel like a week-to-week thing. It was this team can go to the Super Bowl. A lot like in 2017, where they won the Super Bowl, by the way, it really was get the first win, then we reevaluate. All right, well, how are we going to win that next game? Then you beat the Vikings. All right, now what the hell we can beat the Patriots? Fortunately, you don't have the home field like you did back then. And for me, that was the biggest thing. That was my selling point when I said the Eagles can win the Super Bowl and I'll get Nick Foles tattooed on my back, is the fact that
Let's make some noise, come on!
The fact that they had home field. And all they had to do was worry about beating the Falcons. Then you had to worry about beating the Vikings. Then you're in the Super Bowl. You only needed to win 2 games. They got to win 3, and 2 of them could be on the road. Could be on the road. Anything else in the text line?
Greg from Bethlehem not feeling the confidence with this comment here. A chain is only as strong as the weakest link, and Kevin Patullo is clearly the weakest link.
Yep.
We also got another follow-up on Patullo from the conversation we had about Kingsbury earlier. Would you rather have Cliff Kingsbury or Kevin Patullo as your offensive coordinator?
Is that a rhetorical question, Ray? Yeah, of course. How about you? You're the one that you wouldn't even hire him to do a high school game.
Probably still rather have Cliff.
Kingsbury, yeah. At least he has he does have experience. One of the things I read about Kingsbury was that he butted heads with Dan Quinn because he was throwing the ball more than they wanted to run it. I mean, they traded away to running back. I like they have a great offensive line. I don't know.
We got another text here. I can't go into the playoffs with the heavy negative thoughts with this offense. We all have watched this season, but playoffs is different. I believe they'll figure out how to win games from game to game. Players will overcome the hurdles. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, but yeah. Okay, but does anybody actually feel that they're the best team in the NFC or the NFL? It's honestly, it's more about everybody else around them. If you're going to make the case that the Eagles are going to be in the Super Bowl, I'm right there with you. I can make the case too, and it's not crazy. The rest of the NFC is not great. I don't particularly feel confident if they play the Rams at home, right? A lot is going to determine the matchup. Can the offense get it together? But this isn't a strong, confident. Yes, the Eagles can win. The Eagles can win. The Eagles are a good team, and they have the resume, and they won the Super Bowl last year, and this defense is dominant. But it's a lot of, well, this is the reason, and that's the reason, and this is the reason, rather than just the Eagles are the best team, and they can win. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. And while we're talking about the offense, we have our weekly edition of a media member asking Kevin Petula whether they can flip the switch. So I'll play that for you coming up next. Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Game plan for San Fran. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles get back on the practice field today. The wild card round matchup with the San Francisco 49ers Sunday at 4:25 at Lincoln Financial Field. Two names to watch on the injury report this week as they continue to go through practices. Right tackle Lane Johnson, linebacker Nakobe Dean. As for what they're preparing for on the practice field, Vic Fangio met with the media yesterday, talked about preparing for that 49ers team.
They have a really good scheme. It's all packaged together very nicely. Obviously, Purdy operates it very well. McCaffrey's an elite back. I mean, they had a run where they were hottest offense in the league for 6-7 weeks in a row.
Coming up, we'll talk to Chase Sr. at 1 o'clock about everything going on between the Eagles and the 49ers. Flyers beat the Ducks 5-2 as Trevor Zegras scored 2 goals against his former team in the win. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. Tonight, the 76ers get back in action against the Wizards at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game live right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the Sixers, Flyers, the best birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
goal has just been win games, and that's what we're trying to do, is win as many games as we can, and obviously now it counts even more as far as game planning going forward, right? It's whatever we need to do is what we're going to do to win the game. So I think we've spread it out to do totally different things from game to game, week to week, and so that's kind of where we're at. We'll just do whatever we have to do and keep pushing forward.
Well, Kevin Patullo flipping the switch, Ray Dunn. Flip it. I don't even hate him. You know, I hated Chip Kelly. Hated him. Was so happy when he was gone. Just like he was so snarky. A lot of it was unnecessary. He didn't like his players. He got rid of Deshaun and LaShawn. He kept Riley Cooper. I mean, go figure. Just some like Doug Collins by the end. I hated him. I was so glad that he was gone. Patullo, you almost feel bad for him when you hear him talk. Because he's just so in it over his head. And he says nothing.
Yeah, I feel bad for him if it wasn't a championship
If it
roster
wasn't screwing
that
the
I feel
team,
like is getting crushed by this.
Yeah, but this is Sirianni.
Oh, yeah.
He's the whole benefit of the doubt conversation. It's like, well, yeah, like Nick Sirianni did have the benefit of the doubt. He hired his guy. It hasn't worked. Is there any way he's back next year? Patullo. Because I was just reading on ESPN.com. I'm assuming it's from Tim McManus. You know how a lot of times they go through the different teams and each reporter writes their blurb about the team, right? So I was reading it, and it said NFL coach carousel coordinator intel on all 32 teams. And it says, it says that some around the league are wondering about the future of Kevin Patullo because of the offensive struggles. Patullo has clout in Philadelphia because of his strong relationships with key players and his reset on me here. And a long-standing position as a Nick Sirianni confidant. Really? Like, no.
So I'm going to try and PR spin this Eagles-wise on how he comes back because I don't think it's going to be well received, and I'm not necessarily saying that I'm going to sit here and campaign for I need another year of Patullo.
This is your spin, though.
This is the spin that if I were the Eagles and they decide give him another year's the choice. Look at the health of that offensive line. I mean, Jurgens has not been 100% all year. Landon Dickerson got surgery before the season. We're going to probably find out something with Mailata, I'd assume. I mean, maybe he just had a terrible season at a terrible time. Like, maybe that's just it. Lane Johnson hasn't been healthy. You can't exactly run the football without the mauler of Mekhi Becton as compared to Tyler Steen. So the offensive line has not been to the standard of what you'd expect over the last couple of years. You couple that with just kind of the reality of changing play callers year in and year out. Things become uneasy. Last year, we had some of those growing pains. We just had a running back that had an incredible season behind an incredible offensive line. Jalen Hurts needs the continuity of a play caller back-to-back seasons. We think that they could build and grow somewhere from there. This is Sirianni's guy. Sirianni, in this instance of him coming back, has probably won multiple playoff games. We were able to make it to the NFC Championship game, and you hated the offense all year. Just imagine them getting back into the lab and the offense they could draw up for you for next season off of this season where they went to the NFC Championship game without something consistent. That's probably somewhere in the Bob Lang notebook.
All right.
I don't think they end up doing it, but that's like kind of the PR spin I would assume they try and put out there.
And you know why? Other franchises may allow the coach, especially a Super Bowl winning coach, to just say, you know what, like, I gotta, like, no. Jeffrey Lurie, he answers the questions and questions the answers, right? He's going to want to know. Remember Doug Peterson famously? And by the way, Doug wanted to have Matt Burke as his defensive coordinator, who's with Houston now. Houston is one of the best defenses in the league. Now, D'Amico Ryans is also a defensive head coach, but still, he went down there and he did a good job. But Doug, in Jeffrey Lurie asking him, well, what are we going to do to change things around? He was bringing back Mike Groh, and Matt Burke was going to be his defensive coordinator, which was poor strategy. When Nick Sirianni went to save his job, he said, sure, let's bring in somebody from the outside. They can call plays. That's fine. He was wise. And Kellen Moore came in. But you brought it up, and you're right. I always, when people talk about Kellen Moore is, like, I thought Kellen Moore did a great job with the Eagles. He actually did a pretty good job with New Orleans. They look like they found a quarterback in the second round down there. But, like, I never believed that Kellen Moore was this unbelievable offensive coordinator. He was smart. He had that offensive line, and he had Saquon Barkley, and they pounded the ball. They did. And he had experience calling plays, and it really showed. See, I don't think Patullo, if Patullo was the offensive coordinator last year, I'm not telling you they don't win the Super Bowl, but I don't think he looks like a good offensive coordinator just because you have that. So Jeffrey Lurie's got to be asking the question, like, hey, because I'm sure Nick Sirianni's going to try to lobby for his guy to keep the job. I just can't imagine anybody with eyes would think that would be a good idea.
Right. And I don't know how you get that past this fan base. Like, unless you're announcing that, like, at the parade.
Right. That's how he keeps his job.
Yeah. They get to the Super Bowl, you're not getting rid of him.
But do they get to the Super Bowl because the offense suddenly looks great? Or do they get to the Super Bowl because the defense drags them to the Super Bowl? Listen, man, Kevin Patullo is not going to become a good play caller in the playoffs. He's not.
No. Which is, again, when you go back to the confident thing, everyone's like, they're going to dial it up. They're going to turn it up. The only way they dial it up and turn it up is if Jalen Hurts does that for them. That's almost unfair to put on Hurts' shoulders because you should have a competent play caller.
Are people expecting this Kaiser Soze all of a sudden? It's like, wow, they've been rope-a-doping all year long. Look at his offense.
Here you go. Patullo took a week of rest leading up to the Commanders game where he was just game planning for the playoffs. That's exactly it. He didn't put any thought into the Commanders game.
He wasn't even in the office?
Wasn't even in the office. He needed that time off. He reflected. He's now figured out how this offense is going to look in the postseason.
Working from home.
Yeah, there's your spin zone.
All right, earlier in the show, we had mentioned that Baldy had said during an interview that he said that we'll see. Didn't he say we'll see about Lane? He seemed less than confident that Lane Johnson was going to be playing, which was news to me. I think it was news to everybody. I think we thought Lane could have played at the end of the season. There was talk he was going to play in that Buffalo game. And then when they decided to rest the starters against Washington, it was, hey, you're not going to play Lane against Washington. Like, let him get healthy and he plays in the playoffs. Then you heard this from Baldy. Did Baldy put out something on social media kind of walking that back?
So I was scrolling the old Bird app, and I saw Les Bona quote tweeted a tweet from Baldinger about Lane playing on Sunday, and the tweet's deleted. Said nothing to see here when I clicked on it, with saying, like, Lane's going to be out there. So the best I could do is rely on what Schefter told the guys this morning.
Which is what?
Yeah, I'll just say this. Lane Johnson, I expected to play 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And when they didn't win the division, and when they won the division, I think they were able to just get him 2 weeks of rest. So without speaking to a single person this week about it, I'm going to tell you right now, I would be floored if Lane Johnson didn't play on Sunday. Like, he's going to be out there.
So let's logically look at this. Baldy says in an interview that it's iffy if Lane's going to play. And you know what that's going to get? Backlash from somebody. Whether it's the Eagles, whether it's Lane. Lane knows Baldy. So then he puts out a tweet. But then the tweet's deleted. He puts out a tweet that we think said that he's going to play. But when you clicked on the tweet that Les Bowen retweeted, it's deleted.
It's deleted. Nothing to see here.
So he might have walked that back, except he deleted that tweet as well.
He walked back the walk back.
That's tough to do.
Walk backception.
Walking back the walk back. Maybe there's just another tweet that's going up. Did any misspellings in it?
No, I don't remember. Now that I can't see it, I went and clicked on it and said nothing to see here, and then I got stuck in some time warp of Musk's Twitter app.
It's actually Baldy's birthday today, I think.
Happy birthday.
Someone. I'm looking at his Twitter. It says happy birthday to Brian Baldinger. I won't say his age, but it's one of the things. I'm setting up my desk back there, and I brought in a couple things today. I have a signed picture from Baldy when he played for the Colts, back when I worked with him. I went on eBay and I found an old picture of Baldy when he played for the Colts. He looked like he's in much better shape now than back then, and he signed it for me. So I got to bring that in to put up on the desk as well.
You've done good so far. A nice little art from one of your daughters and the
Gianna made me something and I put it up, and then I have an Army-Navy helmet.
Yeah.
That you get when you do the Army-Navy Radio Row broadcasts. They put it in the middle of the table, and then they invite you to get your guest to sign it. And this was one that wasn't signed by anybody, so I took it. She's allowed to take it. I have another Army-Navy helmet at home that's signed by Roger Staubach, and that's the only signature. It's the only one I wanted. I got him to sign it. I interviewed him. I said, Mr. Staubach, can you sign this? He signed it. So
that's a nice item.
It's a nice item. I'm not a memorabilia guy. I don't have anything. I don't have collector items or anything like that. Anything I do have is not even hung up. But it's the one thing that I have that I think is pretty cool. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. We talked about the Phillies earlier. Matt Strahm went on foul territory to address rumors that there was friction between he and the Phillies. He may have been bumping heads with some of the players. We have that for you coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Marks 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds playoff update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Getting set for Sanford. I'm Ray Dunn with this this Birds playoff update. The Eagles getting ready for the matchup with the 49ers this weekend down at Lincoln Financial Field at 4:25. Today they hit the practice field again for the first time ahead of this matchup with the 49ers. Some names that found their way onto the injury report last week. Lane Johnson, obviously the right tackle, has been on there for quite a while. Going to be interesting to monitor his return. Adam Schefter today told the Morning Guys he believes that we will see Lane Johnson out there this weekend. Nakobe Dean, Vic Fangio said that he expects him to play this week. And another name, Jalen Carter, hit the injury report late last week with a hip injury. Be interested to see where he falls in the injury report today as they get back to practice. Of course, something they've been looking for answers for all season pretty much is some offensive rhythm. Here's Kevin Patullo talking about the matchup with the 49ers.
Do a good job. They're really, really well coached. Coach Solid does a good job. He's done a good job for a long time. They fly around with the ball. They're very physical. I mean, they play extremely hard. They're disciplined. So it's going to be a good test. Good test for the Birds. They try to get ready for this matchup with the Niners. I'm Ray Dunn with this Birds playoff update.
All right, we're back middays with Mark's 97.5, the Fanatic. So we're going to talk a little Eagles-Niners with Chase Sr., who has become a big star in the YouTube world. He does daily episodes on the Eagles and I believe still the Niners for Chat Sports. Chase was my intern here. I believe he said it was 13 years ago. And he did some local TV up in the Lehigh Valley. And then he moved to Dallas to do this Chat Sports stuff a couple years ago. And the whole YouTube thing has really blown up since he took that job. So he is he's a huge star, and he's really, really good. So Chase is going to come up because he follows the Niners closely and he follows the Eagles closely. They're the two teams that he does the shows for. So it's pretty good that he's doing the daily shows for both teams.
Chase Senior Bowl.
The Chase Senior Bowl. Good job, Ray.
Thank you.
He's a Temple guy as well.
He's an Owl.
There you go. All right. And you're doing a game tonight?
Yep. Temple ECU tonight at the League course.
Oh, ESPN Plus?
That's right.
What time's the ball tip?
7 o'clock.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I'm always considered. So you know what happens? I get the reminders on my phone because I watched it one time and I have ESPN Plus. So then it just pops up. It's like you have to watch this or I'm going to be really annoying.
I'm glad that does it to you because it started doing it to me and I was like, I don't remember signing up for any of these notifications. So it's just apparently you watch it once and it's aside forever that's for you. Okay.
Yeah, because I certainly didn't say, sure, give me notifications from ESPN Plus. I wasn't asked. Now, because it reminds me and I'm able to tune in and check out Ray, I do it. But there you go. All right. Real quick on this Lane Johnson thing, and then we'll play the Matt Strom stuff. So, Baldy goes yesterday, says, and again, Baldy has a personal relationship with Lane. They know each other very well. So, Baldy goes on yesterday, and he's not asked, is Lane Johnson going to play? They're talking about the game, and he goes, I wish we could play the sound. We can't play the sound. But he said something to the effect of, we'll see about Lane, right? So, he says that. Now, it probably gets back to him. What are you doing? Why are you saying that I could not be playing? Don't do that. So Baldy, feeling bad, puts out a tweet that says, Lane is playing. And then he gets, what are you doing? We don't want to give the competitive advantage that he's playing. Take this. So then he takes down the tweet. But you know what it shows you? That he's not healthy. Because Lane's going to play, but he's obviously not healthy. When you hear Baldy say, we'll see about Lane, that tells you Lane is still very much, he's going to battle through it because the dude's an absolute warrior. But you may not get Lane Johnson even 70%.
And that kind of goes to something they avoided by resting the starters. Any questioning about Lane Johnson last week? We had no questioning of Lane, of like, oh, yeah, what's the storyline? I guess more, maybe they did ask, and I ignored the fact that they asked it, but we didn't have the conversation about it because it's, the rest of the starters. Obviously, Lane's going to sit for this one. We didn't really keep a good pulse on what his health was. So that was a benefit for Sirianni that he didn't have to dance around Lane questions for a week, and now he has to dance around Lane questions.
Yeah, agreed. Baldy said if the Eagles are stuck in this game offensively, I mean the fans are just not going to be able to handle it, man. They just gave everybody a full week of rest. They're going to be fully healthy. I don't think Lane will go, but we'll see. I don't think Lane will go, but we'll see. Wow. So then I'm reading from Bleeding Green Nation, and then the update is that, no, Baldy says now he's going to play. But then he deleted the tweet.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Poor Baldy. He's walked himself into this.
He's sweating through that NFL jacket he's got. Great jacket.
It is a great jacket.
The NFL shield, always repping, but he's got to be sweating through that.
Baldy's got that busted finger, but he's got these hands that are just like meat hooks. Like just like big fat hands that, like when he drinks a cup of coffee, it looks like he has a Dixie cup in his hand, and the coffee's spilling all over the place, and he's guzzling down coffee, talking about football. Baldy's the best ever. He really is. All right, so there you go. So Lane Johnson's playing, and he's not playing, and he's playing, and he's not playing. But I think he plays, but it goes to show you that if Baldy says that I don't think Lane will go, but we'll see. Uh-oh.
Not great.
Well, it doesn't make you feel more confident.
No. 70% Lane Johnson equal 100% Fred Johnson?
Yep.
All right.
Fred Johnson was good.
No, he was. Then you get back to the heavy offensive line sets. You got 6 offensive linemen. Maybe helps to up the run game. Yeah, let's get real into the weeds here. This could be Lane being a warrior here. If he can stay healthy through this game and get you through this game against a bad defense, running the football.
But also, what Lane this year, what happened on multiple occasions?
Exactly.
He left games.
So it's if you get through it, and then it becomes how do you bounce back for next week if you win the football game. Everything's great off a 1 week of rest. There's a chance that off a 1 week of rest, you got to go to Chicago to a team that outmuscled you the first time around. Why? Going back to the original question. Who out there really feels like they're about to go on a run? Lie detector.
You already know what I think.
Right.
And I'm not even trying to lie. It doesn't. All right, Matt Strom, he was on foul territory. And the story that came out after he was traded was that Strom didn't see eye to eye with some members of the Phillies organization, some coaches. It didn't really say a lot. It was more about the coaches in the organization than the players. But just that Strom was very opinionated, and he felt a certain way about things and how things should be managed and run, and he wasn't afraid to speak up. After Kirkring threw the ball away, Strom had said that they weren't practicing pitcher fielding drills and things like that, and Dombrowski actually said, yes, we were. In that, right, was it before or after he said Bryce Harper's not a lead anymore? He kind of threw Strom under the bus.
I think it was before. Pretty sure it was early on there. He went after Strom, and then it was Harper he got.
First Strom. Well, here's Strom clarifying that situation here.
I'm unaware of any player I've ever butted ahead with there. I'm a middle reliever. I'm not going to be a Hall of Famer, but the one thing I control is being a good teammate, and I don't think there's one guy in there that would say a bad thing about me. Everything's business, and I'll call a spade, and in this business, those guys usually aren't liked. At least I know I have my job because I'm the guy for the job.
Yeah. Well, I think a combination of, hey, we can trade him for some salary relief so we can do some other stuff. And listen, he was becoming increasingly a pain in the ass with what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, that clip confirmed to me he had problems with people in the organization.
Right.
They didn't butt heads with any players. Good choice of words there. And then I'm going to call a spade a spade. Some people don't like that. All right.
Yeah, normally the people that you're calling a spade don't like that.
Yeah, it's very clear when you answer something like that, you had a problem. There was a problem there, but you are going to take the high road. You're not going to air out anyone's dirty laundry, and you're going to make sure that everyone knows you were cool with your teammates. Because you don't want the next clubhouse you go in to be like, oh, God, what'd they think of
And I believe him.
Yeah, I believe him. I'm sure. There's nobody in this world that walks into a workplace and it's everyone's 100% level with you, where it's like, oh, this is everyone loves you, everyone takes care of you. It's not reality.
Right. Ricky Bo just told me he doesn't like me anymore.
Oh.
And he goes, you may be the worst instigator of everybody.
Wow, you're worse than Dylan?
I don't know what I did. I just did a radio segment. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one throwing the ball around, smashing coffee. I don't know. And then I said to him, I go, you're the one who went on the air and gave you content. Otherwise, I'm not talking about this today. I don't know.
It is true. The way you handle the response could have left us with nothing to talk about.
But it was great. I'm glad he did. It was funny.
Yeah.
But that's why we're talking about it, is that he went on the air yesterday and was talking about it.
Right.
There you go. He's coming up at 2 o'clock. I'm sure he'll be more than pleased when we see him coming up. All right. Chase Sr., Chat Sports, breaks down the Eagles and the Niners, his thought. Plus, there's some bulletin board material provided by Vic Fangio. Is it out there? We have that for you coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Looking forward to the 49ers. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. Eagles get back on the practice field today at the wild card round matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. Two names to watch on the injury report this week: the right tackle Lane Johnson and linebacker Nakobe Dean. As for what they're preparing for, Vic Fangio talked about that 49ers offense.
You know, they have a really good scheme. It's all packaged together very nicely. Obviously, Purdy operates it very well. McCaffrey's an elite back. I mean, they had a run where they were hottest offense in the league for like 6-7 weeks in a row.
We'll talk to Chase Sr. coming up in the next segment about that 49ers offense and everything going on in this Eagles-49ers matchup. Flyers beat the Ducks 5-2. Trevor Zegras scored 2 goals against his former team in the win. They'll get back in action tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. Tonight, 76ers back in action against the Wizards at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance is here. Their sleep experts will help you find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the Sixers Flyers, the best birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Middays with Marks, and we are back. The 1 o'clock hour of the show, which we're entering, brought to you by Morgenstern Hair Restorations. Great teams stick together. So does great hair. Morgenstern Hair Restoration. Championship results. Visit morgensternhair.com. That's Morgan with an E. Morgensternhair.com or call 610-831-HAIR. 610-831-HAIR. All right, we'll talk to Chase Sr. coming up here in a second. The Eagles, still favorites in the game, still decent favorites in the game over the 49ers. Still 4.5 points, at least on the BetParks app, which I would consider a slight Eagles line. Would you agree, Raymond?
Yeah. And moving in its favor was good.
Yeah. Big money has swayed that a little bit. So maybe it gets up to 5 by kickoff if you're looking to maybe make a move on it. You're going to bet the Eagles. I'd probably do it now. Better chance it goes up to 5 than it goes down to 4. You can kind of wait and see. But I put it on the money line. Ray convinced me yesterday. He gave me a pep talk.
Right. Yep.
It was minus 235.
Your family doesn't eat. That's on me.
Right. So I put it, and I had it in the account. I put 235 up to win $100. There you go. Does our next guest believe that the Eagles will prevail on Sunday? And he's come a long way since he was an intern at the Fanatic 13 years ago. He is not only a content creator that covers the Eagles and the 49ers, daily shows on YouTube. Just check out Chat Sports. But he's also like an executive with the company right now. His name is Chase Sr. As we welcome back him to 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Chase?
John Marks, it's great to be on with you. I really appreciate you sending me a text last night asking me to come on the show. And congratulations to you being back on the air. And it's also great to see Ray killing it across the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, Ray's killing it. I remember you being here, and I remember being like, well, this kid's going to be something. But I don't. Were you here when I was working mornings with Anthony? Wait, were you here? Were you here with Jack? What era were you here as an intern?
So I was actually an intern alongside Andrew Salciunas, and we were in the back just screening calls for the Mike Missinelli show. And I believe that you were the co-host for Anthony Gargano. And so I would sometimes pull you to the side and just ask for advice. We'd have some good conversations. And we've been able to keep in touch since then. And you've helped me a lot throughout the industry. And then when you were in the YouTube game, I lend a helping hand to you as well.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, so it's Salciunas. Look at this. Look at the intern tree I have, Ray Dunn.
It's impressive.
I know. Chase Sr.'s become a big star. Jack's a big star. Salciunas is a big star. Seltzer's
I just got
become a big
brunch with
star.
John Kincade the other day, too, in Westchester.
Yeah, what was that about? He texted me, and I'm like, why is Chase Sr. having lunch with Kincade? What's going on? What are you two up to?
Just two Temple alums connecting. I grew up in Westchester, and he's obviously living in Westchester now. So we just wanted to reconnect because we've also kept in touch over the years. So we went to Market Street Grill, which is an OG spot in Westchester.
All right, so you do daily shows for the Eagles and the Niners, which is an interesting dynamic. And you've been doing this for years, too. So you followed these two teams. Obviously, you're local, so you've been an Eagle fan your whole life. But how do you kind of look at this matchup? And I guess before the matchup, what are your thoughts on the Eagles as they're heading into the playoffs? Is this a team you're confident in as the Eagles head into the playoffs?
Yeah, so I've watched every snap of both teams this year, and these are two different teams with where they are right now, of course. And I'm pretty confident in the Eagles just because of their championship pedigree and the fact that their defense, I think, is Super Bowl caliber right now. Since Week 18, they're the number one scoring defense in the NFL, giving up 14.5 points per game. And so I really like how the Eagles match up against the Niners because of how good their defense is. But I also love Philadelphia in the trenches. I think their defensive line can really control this game and manhandle the Niners' offensive line, which I think is pretty average. And we'll see if Trent Williams can play, but if he can't, I definitely think that Philadelphia can expose San Francisco up front. And I know that this Eagles offensive line has been down this year, but the Niners' defensive line is one of the worst units in the NFL. They've sorely missed Nick Bosa. They've missed Michael Williams, who was their first-round pick. He's a really good run stopper. And this Niners' defensive line and their defense in general is last in the NFL in sacks and last in pressure percentage. So I think this Eagles run game can come alive because I think their offensive line can help control the game. But I also think that Jalen Hurts can have success in the passing game just because I don't think that he's going to be worried when he drops back in the pocket because the Niners really struggle to generate a pass rush. A worry that I do have is this Eagles rushing defense going up against this Niners rushing offense. Now, San Francisco is 30th in the NFL in yards per carry, but when they were the hottest offense in the NFL prior to their loss on Saturday against Seattle, they were humming from a balanced perspective. Brock Purdy was playing better than any quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. He had 13 touchdowns over a 3-game stretch. And then for the first time all year, really, Christian McCaffrey finally had running lanes. And while this Eagles defense has been phenomenal since Week 8, as I mentioned, they have given up 122 rushing yards per game. And so if San Francisco can kind of have this hog-the-ball approach and keep this Eagles offense that has struggled to find a rhythm on the sideline, thus leading them to have a difficult time finding a groove, that could be a formula for San Francisco to find success. But the Eagles are the far healthier team. They have the rest advantage. They're at home. They should definitely win this game, and I feel confident in them doing so.
Let's jump into that talk about the Eagles offense and why it hasn't found a rhythm. What do you see as the biggest cause for concern with this Eagles offense and why it hasn't been able to find a rhythm all season long?
Well, everybody has tried to say Saquon Barkley is washed, Saquon Barkley is cooked. I actually don't think that's the truth at all. When I've watched Saquon Barkley this year, I still think that he's running with velocity. He's running with explosion. He still has the same speed. It's not the Madden curse or anything like that. But all year long, his yards before contact has been down 1 yard to 1.5 yards compared to last year. That's not a Saquon Barkley problem. That's an offensive line problem. I think that Cam Jurgens has really regressed. I'm not sure how he made the Pro Bowl. He has a very high blown block rate, and I think that he's been bullied by some of these physical interior defensive linemen. And so he's gone downhill year over year, and maybe the offseason back surgery has something to do with that. And then I think Landon Dickerson has also had a down 2025, and I don't think that he's ever been healthy. And Tyler Steen has been fine, but he hasn't been as good as Mekhi Becton last year, and they're different players. Tyler Steen was an offensive tackle at Vanderbilt and at Alabama, and he was a very good college offensive tackle. But you can just see in the build, he's a different player than Mekhi Becton. He's a lot more slender than Becton, who was a road grader and one of the biggest offensive linemen that you'd see. And a lot of Saquon's success last year was running behind Mekhi Becton. So I actually think that was a big loss for the Eagles this offseason, and a player that I wish Howie Roseman would have brought back. He only signed with the Chargers for 2 years and $20 million. I thought Philadelphia could have afforded Mekhi Becton there. And so I think that's the biggest problem with this offense is the lack of an efficient running game, which has then led to the Eagles being not as balanced as they were last year, and obviously the run game can open up the pass game, which hasn't really happened on a consistent basis this season.
All right, so the question is, if you were the Eagles and you just talked about their defense, how would you attack San Francisco's defense? And maybe you can you send a text to Patullo, because I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to know what to do. But what you had mentioned, the running, there's no pass rush, and I've heard that as well. But how would you come out as far as the matchup? What would you do offensively if you were the Eagles?
So there's a pretty fascinating development for the Niners. They've been top 10 in injury rate every year since 2017, outside of 2023. That's the year that they made it to the Super Bowl, and that has not changed this year. They're still a very injured team. And at the linebacker spot, they come into this game extremely hobbled, and prior to them signing Kaiser White yesterday, there was not a single linebacker who made the initial 53-man roster who was healthy. And so the Niners in this game could be starting Eric Kendricks, who they signed on November 26th, and Kaiser White, who they signed yesterday. The other linebacker in the mix could be Curtis Robinson, who's been a healthy scratch over the last couple of games because he was so bad in coverage. And so what I would do if I'm Kevin Patullo is call and design some crossers. And this has been a big topic of conversation in Philadelphia. John, you know this. Ray, you know this, that the Eagles haven't called enough of these. But when they have called crossers, Jalen Hurts has thrived. When you call crossers, what do? You target the middle area of the field, and you can exploit the Niners backers. And Hurts, when targeting crossers this year, is 32 of 38 for 329 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 129.1. The issue with this is that the Eagles called crossers at the 3rd lowest rate in the NFL. Now, I will say that prior to the Buffalo game, they did a better job, especially with A.J. Brown, of calling crossers for him, lining him up inside, outside, but they can't just rely on winning matchups on the outside. They have to target the middle area of the field, and that's with A.J., that's with Devontae Smith, that's also with Dallas Goedert, who had 11 touchdowns this year, which broke a record in franchise history for the Eagles for the most tight end touchdowns in a single season. So that's what I'd do if I'm Philadelphia. And then, of course, you got to be able to get the ground game going. That's what Seattle did against the Niners on Saturday. They ran it 39 times, and they just wore down that San Francisco defense. And because the Niners aren't talent deficient, but also they don't have a lot of depth, they're very bereft in that department. That's an area that I think Philadelphia can take advantage of in this game, too.
Let's flip it to the other side of the ball. Who's got the advantage of play caller, Fangio and the Eagles defense or Shanahan and the 49ers offense?
That's a really good question. I really like what Kyle Shanahan does, and Vic Fangio put it very well yesterday. He said that everything is packaged together very well with what Kyle Shanahan does. I will say this with Shanahan. I think he's different when his teams fall down early and he has to come back. It just kind of alters his approach and his flow as a play caller. So I kind of go 50-50 split there between Shanahan and Vic Fangio. Fangio has had a lot of success against Kyle in recent memory. Kyle Shanahan tried to hire him all the way back in 2017 to come back to the Niners because Fangio was a great defensive coordinator for Jim Harbaugh with the 49ers when they made it to 3 straight NFC championship games and a Super Bowl back in the day. And then the Chicago Bears blocked Shanahan trying to bring back Fangio. But I just think that Fangio right now has more horses than what Shanahan has on offense. And then this team in general is just so much healthier than what the Niners are. So maybe the slight edge to Fangio just because I like how this defense is playing right now. I think that Philadelphia can really dominate this game in the trenches. So maybe I'll go slight edge Fangio there.
All right, Chase Senior across all social medias. Chase _Senior. If you want to check out everything that he does, his Instagram, his Twitter. I'm assuming that's your YouTube handle as well. But it's a good way to see everything that he does. You can see what he does on Chat Sports. When you do give a prediction, because I know it's still early in the week, when you do give a prediction, it sounds like that you're firmly believing the Eagles win this game. True?
Yes, I'm very confident that the Eagles win this game.
There he is. All right. How about after this week? It's kind of what Ray and I started the show with, which was, all right, like put the lie detector test on. Last year, it felt like the Eagles were primed to go to a Super Bowl. They did. They won it. To me, it doesn't feel like that this year. They could. They could. It's more about the matchups and if they can get going. But how confident are you in the Eagles as we start the playoffs?
I'm pretty confident. One more nugget, too. I was trying to pull these numbers up. So Kyle Shanahan's gone up against Vic Fangio 4 times. The last time was 2018. Shanahan's offenses have scored 11, 6, 15, and 9 points. So I think that context is very important for this conversation. As far as
11, 6?
11, 6, 15, and 9.
That's good numbers right there.
Yeah.
Good
yeah.
stuff.
So as far as your question, I think if the offense can find a groove, and if they can just be a little bit above average paired with this defense continuing to ball out the way that they've been playing, I think that the Eagles can make it back to the Super Bowl and go back-to-back because I think this year compared to any other in recent memory, the field in the NFC is completely wide open, and I'd take Philadelphia when they're playing their best football against anybody in this conference. And then if they get to the Super Bowl, I don't think there's a great team at all in the AFC, and I really like how Philadelphia would match up against any team in the AFC bracket.
All right, there he is. Chase, congratulations, buddy. You've made me proud as my former intern. I've been enjoying what you're doing, and keep it up, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate that. Great to be on with you guys.
All right, there he is, Chase Senior. What a nugget we got at the end there. In 4 games, they scored 41 points. Shanahan scored 41 points against Fangio.
That'll play. This offense, I believe, can outpace 10 points per game.
Are we sure?
I believe that this offense can outpace 10 points per game.
Yeah, you're right. After that, it becomes about the matchups and things like that. But everything that Chase just said right there, and when you do daily shows on stuff, even doing the Phillies things that I'm doing right now, and I love the Phillies and I follow the Phillies very, very closely, but when you're doing content on a specific team, you know everything that happens with that team, and boy, did he have some good information. But Yeah, Kaiser White and who was the other? Kendricks, Eric Kendricks.
Yes.
They might be starting against the Eagles. They were on the street weeks ago.
I'm rooting for the guy who said that hasn't played that can't cover. I'm rooting for that guy. I don't know. What was his name? Charles Robinson, Curtis Robinson.
Curtis Blow?
Yeah.
Somebody like that. And they have a wide receiver who, I think he's like shifty, and he's like little, or who was talking
the
about
guy
him?
we were talking about yesterday with Harry.
Harry, Harry was telling us all about this guy.
We didn't want it to be the fill-in-the-blank guy game. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that guy.
So it seems like on both sides of the ball, it's fill in the blank game.
Yeah. Well, it's the 49ers. They've got a little bit of the Detroit Lions health problems to them.
So the Niners don't have a pass rush.
No.
One of the worst teams to get into the quarterback and pass rush rate and all that stuff. Their wide receivers are banged up. They're playing with guys that nobody knows about. They do have an offense that schemes guys open. And if honestly, I think this is what it comes down to. And Shanahan, for as good of a coach as he is, and I think he's a good coach, like you look at what happens in the playoffs. I mean, like he's not exactly Nick Sirianni in the playoffs.
No.
Right?
No, he's not necessarily Nick Sirianni in the playoffs. He'll come up small. I think the only game he's come back from double digits was the Packers game in 23. Other than that, if he's in the second half down double digits, I don't think they've been able to.
That might be the case for a lot of coaches. It's tough to come back in the playoffs that far.
Well, he's just got a long
resume.
Sorry, not playoffs. I mean, in his career, not just playoffs. I mean, entirely in his career. They just don't seem to play well from behind. Which again, not a ton of teams do, but it's been something that's been a knock on him for quite a while.
But some teams don't mind getting down, and I think that what goes to show you is if he comes out and it's working, that's great. If he comes out and it's not, and they're losing, he struggles.
This will be the old keys to the game. Eagles got to throw the first punch. That's going to be because that crowd as well. Like the crowd, if you watch them go 3 and out, yeah, you're going to need like Patrick Robinson type play to turn that crowd back if you get down.
Do you throw the kitchen sink early just to get the crowd behind and get some confidence on the team?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's even about the crowd. I'm throwing the kitchen sink, man. We got 4 quarters.
No, I know, but the crowd, like, you come out and you go 3 and out. You're not going to get the second 3 and out before fans start going crazy.
Oh, yeah. No, the first 3 and out will be, we rested the starters for this.
Correct. All right, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, all the information I'm getting when I look at things and I read, because we've been talking about Baldy a lot today, but I saw he was on a radio station in San Francisco, and they asked him, they said, is this the worst matchup possible for the Niners to get of anybody in the playoffs? And he said, yeah, for sure. Because you don't get a pass rush, and you need to get a pass rush on Jalen Hurts to affect them. Their defensive line, everything they do on defense, so it almost neutralizes what you want to do on offense. So, yeah, like we look at this Eagles team as being like, oh, I don't really have a lot of confidence in them. Everybody else looks at this Eagles team as saying like, oh, you don't want to play him. You don't want to play them.
No, you don't want to play that team. Kittle said it himself. He said, go Cardinals.
He certainly did. He did. I see Ricky Bo came in your studio. Is he saying hi to you?
No. I don't know what he's doing.
He just walked. Well, I saw a ball come flying by the window.
I don't even know what he just took.
Did he
took something out of here. What in the world is going on here?
Did you see just a story that we talked about yesterday? Was it your News at Noon, the Matt Ryan story?
Yes, that was the News at Noon.
So Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reported that Matt Ryan wanted to stay with CBS and run the Falcons. Tom Pelissero is reporting Matt Ryan is not going to pull double duty and will not, if he gets the job with the Falcons, will not work for CBS. So the same reporter has reported both things.
That's unfortunate.
We've officially made it.
Yeah. That was the old, hey, listen, we're not going to let him do it. Take that back. Like, report the other way.
I just don't know why you would want to do it.
Right. Well, if you're the Falcons, it's Sunday. It's game day. Your president of football operations is there breaking down Shador Sanders, getting ready for the Browns-Bengals 1 o'clock tilt on CBS Sports.
But Florio also said that he never wanted to do it, and the first report was completely erroneous.
Oh, wow. Yeesh. That's bad.
Right. But I mean, at least that's what he's being told. It doesn't mean that's the case. Right. Now, is that damage control to say, like, no, I mean, it actually kind of sounds like he never wanted to do that. That was just being put out there.
And this new job I saw is also, they're creating it. They haven't had
no, there's never been a direct, no. So he may have a lot more control than people even realize.
Or he has nothing.
I don't think it's that, right?
He's going to have some say. He's going to definitely have say on what happens.
That's a pretty hefty title to just come in as a ceremonial type thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not telling you it's a general manager, but is a GM coming in and your report as the director of football ops, or whatever it is. What is it again? President
of football ops, I assume.
Seems like you're in charge.
Yeah, he just hasn't done anything of this magnitude.
He's no experience doing it.
Right.
Doesn't mean he can't.
Doesn't mean he can't. Like,
he's a sharp dude.
You go to baseball, the Giants were like, you know what? We stink. Buster Posey, you come here and you be our director of baseball operations. It's a name that it always comes back to, and this going back to the Flyers thing we did earlier, and something that Flyers fans, sometimes love, hate, depending who you are. Like, they always bring back Flyers. And it's like, Jonesy's running the team.
It was the Broad Street Bullies, and then you bring in guys from the 90s or the 2000s.
And it's like, if there is a way to win over at least a timeline, at least a little period of time, like a grace period for you, by bringing back someone like Matt Ryan.
Why not
bringing
Matt
back
Ryan?
someone like Buster Posey. Like, that's what this kind of screams to me. Matt Ryan's going to have people that he trusts giving him help. He'll have sway on what happens. But Matt Ryan's there as the Falcons go through one of the more or one of the longer droughts in football without going to the postseason. He's at least going to have time to get the Falcons right. He'll get credit for it, or he'll be remembered as a quarterback.
By the way, Tom Brady, ESPN.com expose yesterday, which details dysfunction in the Raiders organization with Tom Brady running things.
Oh, no.
Hate to see it.
I could only imagine that it was going to go so well when Tom Brady's at every single speaking engagement he's ever been offered, out on St. Bart's during the football season, and, oh, by the way, also working as a full-time broadcaster. I can't imagine how there would be dysfunction with an organization that leader is all doing that.
Tom Brady, big advocate for Chip Kelly, did not want Sam Darnold, wanted Geno Smith. Hate to say it. It was in favor of drafting Genti, 6th overall. It's just what you want to do when you're trying to rebuild your franchise. Talk about expectations of making the playoffs and draft a running back, 6th overall. 610-632-0975, 610-632-0975. Herb from Northeast Phillies on the line. Something tells me we're going to get to him coming up next segment. Also, we talked about the material on what Vic Fangio said. We also have Nick Sirianni talking about Lane Johnson. Did we get an update? Baldy said he didn't think he's going to play. Then Baldy walked it back and said he's going to play. Then he deleted the tweet. Nick Sirianni was asked about it. We'll play that for you coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The game plan for San Fran. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Birds getting back to the practice field today ahead of the wild card round matchup with the San Francisco 49ers. 2 names to watch on the injury report this week. Right tackle Lane Johnson, linebacker Jacoby Dean. As for what they're preparing for on the field, Kevin Petullo met with the media yesterday and talked about preparing for that 49ers defense.
They do a good job. They're really, really well coached. Coach Saleh does a good job. He's done a good job for a long time. They fly around on the ball. They're very physical. I mean, they play extremely hard. They're disciplined. So it's going to be a good test.
We talked with Chase Sr. about that test for the Birds in the last segment. You'll be able to listen to that back on our website and the Fanatic app. Flyers beat the Ducks 5-2 as striker Zegras scored 2 goals against his former team in the win. They'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Maple Leafs. Tonight, 76ers back in action against the Wizards at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game here on the Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearances here. Their sleep experts will help you find your dream bed from a quality selection. They make sleep easy. I'm Ray Down your home for the Sixers Flyers, the best Birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 TheFanatic.com.
All right, back Middays with Marks. Here it comes. All right, Nick Sirianni spoke about. So we were this weird Lane Johnson thing that's going on. I don't think anybody envisioned Lane not playing, right? Would you agree?
Nope. Didn't envision it at all. I figured, hey, he got his rest. He's been out and take a chance last week. He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He's
so,
Lane.
So Baldy said yesterday he was on with on Anthony's show. He had said, and I'm quoting here, he said, they just gave everybody a week of rest. They're going to be fully healthy. I don't think Lane will go, but we'll see. Regardless, they should be fully healthy and rested against the defense, blah, 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 blah. I don't think Lane will go. We'll see. I saw it this morning, actually, and I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. What do you mean? So Baldy, sometime this morning or today, said that Lane is playing on Sunday, but then he deleted it. So apparently they just don't want him saying anything about anything.
Right. Baldy's no longer allowed to talk about Lane Johnson.
Baldy knows Lane. Baldy has a personal relationship with Lane. I don't think he's getting this information from somebody else. So it's pretty much just like, Baldy, we get it. We get it. Just please stop putting stuff out there. Nick Sirianni was asked about Lane Johnson today. Here it is.
Obviously, Lane's a big difference maker, and I know he's working like crazy to get himself back. We'll see where that is this week. But he's a difference maker. He's one of the best that's ever done it. Yeah, he allows you to do some different things. But again, Fred's done a nice job when he's came in and played for him. We've won a lot of games with Fred in the lineup. But yeah, Lane is just.
I don't need it anymore. He's not playing. He's not playing. Play from the beginning. Listen to it. He's not playing. He's working like how he's working really hard to get back. We'll see. Listen.
Obviously, Lane's a big difference maker, and I know he's working like crazy to get himself back. We'll see where that is this week. But
stop playing. If he plays, he's going to be 60%.
I think it's more likely he plays. He's not 100%, and Sirianni's doing this as a competitive advantage.
Yeah, but Baldy doesn't. He's doing a competitive advantage, acting like he's not going to play?
Being like, we don't know. Because there is an element of their offense. We saw the best run game they had was when they went to the heavy offensive line set. If you're preparing for a world without Lane Johnson, there's no world in which we're talking about Matt Pryor coming in or Brett Toth coming in and making that.
But Baldy comes out, and he's not. It's not a report where Baldy's coming out trying to get headlines. He's just shooting the bleep. He's just talking, and he says, I don't think Lane's going to play, right? He knows something. He knows that Lane not going to play. And then it gets put out there, well, no, Lane actually is going to play, and then they delete that. I don't know, man. Now, I can tell you this, he's not healthy.
No, he's not healthy. That's for sure.
And does he get healthy next week?
What we've been told is by playing more football, you get less healthy.
That's why they rested everybody last week.
Lane should rest this week and get ready for the next week.
Well, if he's going to be out there a shell of himself and he's not going to make it through the game, they shouldn't play him. They were fine with Fred Johnson. If this particular defense doesn't get great pass rush, it makes more sense to. I guess I'm just really surprised because, like we had talked about earlier, it looked like that he could have played in the Bills game, and then they sat everybody, so it wasn't even a question. But everybody would have thought he would have played if the game mattered against Washington, right? Right.
Yeah.
Or if he didn't play against Washington, they're like, okay, well, they're just being cautious and he's going to be good to go for the playoffs.
I kind of figured that he was in contention to play against Buffalo. It seemed when we were talking to Tim in the weeks leading up to that at some point Lane was going to be back. Maybe Buffalo was a bold thing. The whole reason I didn't put him on injured reserve was because I thought there was a chance that they thought he could be back after or before the 4 weeks were up. I thought that's where we were going.
But also. Schefter had said this morning, people pointed out to me and said, well, Schefter said he's playing. No, what Schefter said was he hasn't talked to anybody this week about Lane, is what he said. He didn't say, yeah, I checked in on Lane, he's fine, he's playing. He said play the Schefter cut again, just so people hear it. And this isn't a shot on Schefter. No one, he hasn't checked in on this because they didn't think there was any reason to check in on it. National reporters aren't glued to this story. All right, like now they may be. But national reporters like Schefter, unless there's a reason for him to check in with the Eagles, now he may be contacting the Eagles. But Schefter didn't say, yeah, I talked to the Eagles, not a problem. Here's Schefter this morning.
Lane Johnson, I expected to play 2 weeks ago. And when they didn't win the division, and when they won the division, I think they were able to just get him 2 weeks of rest. So without speaking to a single person this week about it, I'm going to tell you right now, I would be floored if Lane Johnson didn't play on Sunday.
He didn't talk to anybody.
So I guess he's saying 2 weeks ago the conversation was so hot about him getting back that he'd be shocked if...
I'm right there with him. I'm right there with him. And he even let it be known. I haven't talked to anybody about it. So going by what I thought 2 weeks ago, I thought that he was going to play. Very interesting, Ray. Very, very interesting. All right, chat recap coming up in a second. Let's go to the phones. Herb from Northeast Philly joins us. Hello, Herbie.
What's up there, Johnny March? What's going on, Johnny March?
What's up, brother? How are you?
You know what's up. You're talking a lot about my boy Lane Johnson.
Do you have any inside information?
Look, I think that if he's, let's say, that foot is 75, 80% or whatever, if he's practicing today, tomorrow, and Friday, whatever, maybe he might miss it one of these days or so. But if by Friday he knows what's going on, you know, the protection, everything, okay, I expect to see him out there. You know what I mean? But they, like you said, Fred Johnson he did a good job when he was in there, and I don't have a problem with Fred Johnson. It's the problem that I have, okay, is on Sunday, they should have won that game. If what would have happened if, you were possibly going for the 1 seed, of course you were going for the 2 seed, what would have happened? Or if you would have needed that game to win the NFC East, you understand?
They would have played the starters. They would have played the starters.
Right, they would have played, right. Yep. They would have played their best guys, and that's it. So this game is about right now, because I was with my ladder the other day, okay? We need to run the ball, pass the ball. Run the ball, pass the ball. We got to mix it up, keep the defense off guard, just keep running the clock. When we have a shot for a long pass or whatever, take advantage of a 20-yard down the field, 30-yard, 40-yard, 50-yard down the field, whatever. Okay. But we gotta have point. We gotta move the football. We gotta put points on the board. You know what I mean? The weather's going to be decent on Sunday. Right now, I'm looking at it, and it seems like it's 45, 50 degrees.
Going to be warm.
You know,
it's warm out there today, Herb. It was I walked outside this morning, nice and warm.
I'm not even wearing a jacket. I'm sitting here in H-Lot, and I'm not wearing a jacket right now. I got my ESPN shirt on, and I'm long sleeve shirt, and I'm.
Well, listen, Herb, we're gonna have to check into Marks. We're up against it, but how's your friend going? Your text buddy going that you were texting?
I haven't dealt with that girl this week, but
no.
There's somebody else sent me something on from another
number.
But I didn't answer it. Somebody else, they come up with these like, what are you doing or something, or how you doing today?
Yeah, once you started going back and forth with this one person, then you're gonna have everybody texting you trying to trick you.
Yeah, I know that.
All
you don't have to tell me. I've seen these before. I've seen a few of them before.
All right. We'll talk tomorrow. I got to go. I'm mildly disappointed that you haven't talked to her, but I'm also happy that he hasn't been ripped off.
Yeah, thrilled for him.
Content would have been better.
Content machine's dead, but thrilled for him.
He produces content like unbelievably.
It's good that he's now able to sniff it out, though. He immediately.
Well, you got to get up pretty early in the morning to put one over on Herb.
I've noticed.
Coming up, we have the YouTube chat recap. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatics.
back Middays with Marks. Ricky Bo. Colarulo coming up next.
Who the hell is Ray Dunn?
You had the exchange where he yells at Caputo, which is tremendous.
See if they have the whole cut in there. I just had what the morning show was.
That's okay. You can play
into.
You can play it out of the tweet too. I think it was in there. Or maybe you don't have to get it right now, right? It's fine. Don't worry about it. But it was great. Ricky's not any more pleased than he was yesterday when he erupted on the air. So they're coming up at 2:00. A lot to talk about with the Eagles and the Lane Johnson development. I was thinking about it during the break. The week of the Bills game, even before the week before the Bills game, it was, like he's trying to. Remember, wasn't he trying to go? What was the game before the Bills game? How quickly you forget? All right, I'll look it up real fast. But I thought it was the week before the Bills game that there was he's practicing and he could potentially go, but it's more likely he's going to go in the Bills game because no one thought that he would be playing in the last week of the season if it didn't matter. I remember that there was talk that he could go in that game, but the Bills game's more realistic. It was the Commanders. So they weren't going to play him against the Raiders, and then it was like Commanders. Was that a short week? Was the Commanders game a short week, the first one, or no?
Yeah, because it was that Saturday. They went Sunday to Saturday.
So it was, you're not going to play him in a short week. It's the Commanders. You're not really worried about that. You get him ready for the measuring stick game against the Bills, and you get him in there for 1 week, and then he doesn't play the final week. But then he didn't play against the Bills either. So it was like, okay, well, he's not fully ready yet, and then you didn't know. Now Nick Sirianni's response, which is he's working like crazy to try to get ready, we'll see. I don't know, man.
Not encouraging.
No,
Play
it's
or
not.
not, it's not encouraging.
It's
Whether or
not.
not he's out there. And we have a YouTuber that's continuing to make the point here. I want to make sure I get the name correct on who this is because they're really, really up in arms that we're making such a deal about Lane Johnson. I believe it's Angelo in the YouTube chat is saying, oh, how could you guys be crying? The Eagles are going to go in 21 to 22 starters. They're facing a team that barely has half its starters. How could you be concerned? I don't know. Lane Johnson not being on the field seems like a big deal to me.
I mean, I didn't say they're losing the game or anything like that, Angelo. Lane Johnson, look at the record without Lane Johnson. All right? I mean, actually, they've actually been okay. I even said Fred Johnson's done a good job. I wouldn't play him if he's not healthy. If he's out there at 60%, don't play him. I just don't know if he gets that much healthier after a week. Didn't he avoid? Did he not get surgery, or he did get surgery?
No, he avoided it. I thought the whole thing was he avoided the catastrophic injury.
He avoided the season-ending surgery. What it seems like he did was not have surgery. Right? Like, the season-ending surgery ends the season. It doesn't seem like he's actually healthy, though.
Aren't we like 4 weeks removed from Hard Knocks going to his private barn, filming him working out, being like, yeah, he's trying to get himself back? Like, what happened to – because I do remember, and I hate to just bring up Tim's name without knowing for sure it was Tim, but it really felt like leading up to that Commanders game, there was they didn't put him on injured reserve. It seems like next week would be the week where they get him back.
Well, like you said, you didn't put him on injured reserve because you thought he was coming back.
Right. You thought he was coming back soon.
Yeah.
Like, not relatively soon, like a month into this.
If they IR him, can they bring him back in the playoffs? They could IR him and then still brought him back at the end of the regular season.
To return, yeah. They didn't because I think they thought they were going to get it back
a couple weeks.
After a couple weeks.
And what we know about Lane is that he comes back, he plays for everything.
Right. So if this is really keeping him down, that's not encouraged at the fact that I'm going to see him.
That stinks. All right, let's get to the YouTube chat recap. Go.
It's time for the YouTube chat recap.
How about filling us in? Let me tell you something else, man.
Watch us live on YouTube every single weekday.
I can't lie. Let me tell you something.
It's the Middays with Marks YouTube chat recap.
Hit me.
Ricky Bo is Charmin Ultra going after Ray all the time. If Bayless from the YouTube chat.
Charmin Ultra.
He's not doing it on the show, though. It's all in good fun. Believe me, Bill is if we're doing the power rankings of fans of Ray on the station, to me, Ricky Bo may not be number one. But Colarulo, all through the process, when I knew I was coming on before it was announced, when I knew I was coming on Middays, before you knew, but you didn't know.
Right, yeah.
Everything I was told about you was Ray's really good. Like, you're really going to like working with Ray. And I like him on the air. He's good. But no, like, Bill was always a big advocate of Ray.
Is he out there right now?
No.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that for Bill. Bill's done a lot for me, and I enjoyed working with Bill.
Yeah.
But if we could dump that audio, please. No one ever.
Yeah, we don't need that for the bit. We don't need the.
Nobody
you
ever
guys.
repeat that to him. All right. I showed up at his event Saturday night.
I know you did.
It's the two of us having beers. It's a good time. It's a good time.
So that's 2 nights in a row you were drinking with work people.
Yeah.
You were drinking Friday night.
Yeah. And that was the third time in, 6 days? Because Monday night I went out with Temple women's basketball staff people.
Correct.
Yeah. No,
Drink last night?
Nope. Clean.
So you stopped your streak of drinking consecutive nights.
Yep. Doing my best over here.
And tonight you may unwind with a beer after the game.
I may. Depends how the game goes.
ECU Temple. What does ECU look like? Give me a 5-second scouting report.
They have had a rough go of it. Lost 2 first-team all-conference players from season ago.
That's more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, what's next?
Bill, before you leave today, please tell Johnny Marks how to pronounce your last name. Spriggs from the YouTube chat.
Colarulo. Is that all right?
I always go more Colarulo.
Colarulo?
Colarulo? Bill Colarulo?
Tomato.
Yeah. Colarulo, Colarulo.
Calarulo?
Vitalico.
I can say that. Ricky Bo. Ricky Bo, by the way, will also be in an event coming up.
Yeah, he's got the
watch party. New Deck Tavern?
Yes, New Deck Tavern.
On Sunday, man.
$5 Coronas, $5 Modelo Draft.
I've done many events over the years at the New Deck. It's a great place.
I've heard wonderful things.
Great place. I recommend going there. I don't recommend you go there.
Right.
You might ruin everybody's fun.
Yeah.
Because Ricky may end up putting you through a window and then he gets arrested.
Maybe I'll stay home for this game.
Stay home. Stay home.
All right, maybe.
All right, what's next?
John is taking notes on good radio debate by watching Bill and Ray. Andy from the YouTube chat.
Yeah, it was good. It was good debate. Good radio debate.
We got a text that said I'm not a Flyers fan, but I enjoyed that.
It was
like, all right,
good.
I was like, there you go. There's the talkable thing. All right, we got John Kincade tweeting that I got put into, I don't know what it was. He killed me or something like that. The
Really?
chalk body outline. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the chalk. Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I think you were more about like I don't understand it than you were totally against it.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense for the timeline.
Right. And Bill's very pro.
Right.
Bill knows his hockey.
Yeah. Wow.
Bill knows his hockey.
Bill also loves his Flyers.
Ricky Bo's already in the studio. Uh-oh.
I don't like your odds in there.
All right.
Blink twice if you're in danger.
And Caputo is taking a video of all this, so there's something that's going on. All right, what's next?
Spillgate. In my opinion, everyone that saw the coffee cup there prior to the spill is guilty. Just throw the cup out. However, since Ricky caused the spill, it then became his problem to clean up. Sean from New Jersey.
So I agree with that. I don't know the cup you're talking about. It's actually what Ricky talked about in the argument, which was why don't these slobs clean up the coffee?
So
which is true.
It is a reusable cup that was sitting on the ledge.
Right.
Like it's one of these big cups. So I don't know whose it was. Sure, that person's at fault. But I think that cup's been up there for a while.
So why don't you throw it out, is what Ricky's saying.
It's a reusable cup. I didn't think there was any coffee in it.
Oh, it was a real mug. All
It's
right,
like a real, it's like an actual cup.
And we don't have plumbing or anything in this area, so you can't even do it.
It's a good point. You can't pour anything out in the one sink we have over here because there's nothing to get rid of it.
But once the ball goes flying and it explodes the coffee, I think your duty is to clean it up.
Right. I would agree.
And apologize to you for getting coffee on your back.
That would be nice. I would appreciate that.
Ricky Bo's shaking his head. All right, what's next?
Maybe Jalen Hurts should start treating Kevin Petullo's play calls as just suggestions and then decide what to do if he doesn't like what's being given. Mac from Philly.
Just overrule him? Well, I advocated just go out there with just say, do whatever you want. Couldn't be any worse. All right, is that it? YouTube chat recap. Hi, Ricky. You're not coming in to talk to us? You just came in early? Yeah, but Caputo, she was filming it, so it's obvious that you came in here and there was some type of strategy to what you're doing.
What's up, pot stir? Is that better? Are you happy? I come in, I call you a pot stir. I take up 2 segments of your show today, made Ray's life easy because he's the producer. And
you gave us good content.
I gave you content. This is what I do for people around here, and nobody respects that whatsoever.
I love it.
Oh, you love it, of course, but you are the biggest. You have a big spoon. Let me put it that way. This guy carries a spoon that's about 6 foot tall and just stirs the pot all day long.
Is there a difference between pot stir and scum of the earth?
Oh, 100%, yes.
Okay, all right. You still consider Ray scum of the earth?
I like Ray, but some of the stuff he does, is scum of the earth.
Some?
I mean, I said there's 2 people. He was one of them. One of them's a lot worse. Dylan's 10 times worse.
Dylan's a
By the
big
way,
instigator.
Anything Dylan sees, you know what? Don't rob a bank with Dylan.
That was the other thing of the clip yesterday. He said if they were members of the mob, as if I was ever going to be. Do you
Right.
look at me and say, yeah, that's a guy? Talk to me once.
Yeah, you and Joey Merlino.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had to take my application of the mob out after yesterday. Can't believe that I'd never be a good.
Oh, shit.
I'm 50% Italian. What are you going after me on that one?
Maybe dump that. There might have been profanity that came over there. I don't know. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody. Coming up next, what will Ricky Bo have in store for us today? We're going to find out. Unfiltered Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo is coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow.